that win in favor of the Lakers. Wow.
There's no way the NBA would do that, right? They don't want to see the Lakers in their primetime event. Come on, man. That was a legitimate missed call,
Adam Silver's on the phone with the officials. Look, we've already got the Pacers in there. We need LeBron in there. We can't have the Suns and the Pelicans in the in-season tournament. We got to get LeBron in there. And then what do you know? Timeout. Yeah, you got it, LeBron. You usually have to have possession of the ball, but it's LeBron. So, yeah, you got it. What do you need? Timeout. Terrible call.
Terrible call. And you hate, if the call is made in the first quarter, that's one thing. But this is a critical junction, a critical time in the game. Austin Reeves fumbled the ball. The Suns, they get that. They hit the layup. And what was it at that time? Was it a 2-point game, I think, at that time? Because, yeah.
That's correct.
And so then you tie it up. And so because then Anthony Davis missed a free throw and then Kevin Durant's heave. And so I understand these are the best officials in the world. But the problem is you got the official on the far side where LeBron is. He doesn't even really have a great view of the play.
That's true.
You got the official closest to the ball, and that's where I wish they would have been able to come together and say, you know what? He didn't have control. Like the official could have overruled his other official. And so the Lakers move on. I know, Kings fans.
Freddie fan is not happy.
It's PTSD all over again. It's like, oh my gosh, here we go again. The Lakers get the call. And it kind of marred what was otherwise a great 4 games of in-season tournament quarterfinal action.
Yeah, I think to what you said, that would help in a lot of cases, just taking a wider view of it all. Even in baseball, a lot of times, controversial calls, if the umpires would just get together, the officials would just get together. Hey, you know what? I think you missed that one. If you
right.
just confer,
it's okay.
Talk
it's
it
okay.
over. It was kind of an important call at that time.
Yeah, and I'm listening to Reggie Miller on the broadcast, and I'll be honest with you, I'm not a fan of Reggie, the broadcaster. He's kind of annoying to me. That's just me, though. That's just my opinion. But he's screaming basically like, no, you can't call. You can't. People on Twitter, social media, at home, the whole world sees it. But for some reason, these officials couldn't see it. Mm-hmm. And I understand we got the benefit of review, replay, and everything. I will say this, though. Because we have the benefit of replay and we can slow it down and everything, they don't have that at their disposal in that moment. And so I don't believe there was some conspiracy or anything. I just think the official got it wrong. Mm-hmm. He just got it wrong in the most critical of times.
First of all, for what it's worth, I'm with you on Reggie Miller. I've gotten to the point now where originally when he started, I couldn't listen. And now I can tolerate him. And, he's so passionate about it. I appreciate that. But, yeah, not my favorite announcer for what that's worth. I'm with you on that. But trying to give the officials the benefit of the doubt, which is hard for Sacramento fans, hard for Freddie fan, hard for me. You can't understand, to the point you made, where the official was. It was difficult to see. LeBron's basically next to you. You're trying to see through 2 guys to see if the ball's loose or not. It's just unfortunate that in this day and age of replay, and we're trying to get everything right, doing everything we can to get everything right, that there's no mechanism there for them to go, let's take a look at that. All right, you know what? You don't have that timeout.
Or maybe make that challengeable, too.
Exactly.
Maybe
whatever
Frank Vogel, some mechanism to say, you know what? We just saw this. He didn't have control of the ball. We got to review this. Yeah. And then you go back. And
you
then
got the guys in Secaucus, right, that are supposedly looking at everything anyway.
Yeah, exactly. And you got eyes on it, like you said.
Yeah.
Like sort of the NFL, where the challenge comes from, the replay comes from the booth up top.
The eye in the sky.
The eye in the sky. Maybe the NBA needs to adopt that. And I understand, it's the in-season tournament. It's December. But if this was an NBA Finals game, let's say, or something like that, something of that magnitude, this would really blow up. And so if I'm the NBA, you got to be proactive. I think, in these cases. And if I'm Adam Silver, you can't just sweep this under the rug. Oh, mistakes happen. No, you gotta do whatever you can. Do your best to make sure mechanisms are in place to correct mistakes.
Like if it was, say, Game 6 of the Western Conference Finals, something like that.
Yeah, something like that, and here's the thing, and we're waiting for the 2-minute report to come out. The 2-minute report is trash. Let's call it what it is.
Yes.
It does nothing. Like, it doesn't even save face for the NBA. If anything, it probably makes fans even more angry, right? Because the 2-minute report's going to come out and it'll say something like, Austin Reeves had control or correct non-call or whatever you want to call it. And it's just going to aggravate the fan base.
Yeah, no matter what it says, it's going to further inflame things. There's nobody, as far as the people that actually have anything to do with what goes on, nobody likes the 2-minute report. But it does speak to the fact that the NBA, because of Donaghy and some other issues, people leap to those conclusions like, it's rigged, it's fixed. That's why the NBA had to come up with a 2-minute report. They're trying to be as transparent as they can. And as you say, sometimes there are bad calls in a situation like that. It's simple to connect the dots and go, it's LeBron. Now, that's probably not the case, but for those of us in Sacramento, it's hard not to look at it.
If this was the Memphis Grizzlies getting this call, this would not be an issue today. This would not be a topic in Sacramento.
Would the Memphis Grizzlies get that call?
Exactly.
That's the question.
That's
if
the
it's
question
Jaren Jackson,
right there.
you go, hey, you got to have the ball. I can't call a timeout.
Yeah, it's a bad look for the league when one of their marquee franchises and one of their marquee stars gets advantage with a call. That being said, the Phoenix Suns aren't a bad draw either. Phoenix, they got Kevin Durant, they got Devin Booker, 2 of the top 10, 15 players in the league.
They got Bradley Beal theoretically,
right? He'll be in there on the bench in street clothes, and so no, it's a bad look. And if I'm Adam Silver, it was the worst possible outcome in terms of. Now we're not talking about the actual games. We're not talking about the quality of basketball. We're once again talking about the officiating.
But it was a great game, and to that extent, the tournament has been a huge success, as you know as well as I do, as anybody who watches this knows. The fact that the players are competing at a little bit of a higher level, that's what this all hinges on. If you got buy-in from the players, this was going to work, and so far, there's definitely been buy-in from the players.
Yes. And you saw that last night.
Yeah.
You saw that, just from LeBron and Durant and the level of competition. And I said it in the crossover with the guys, Alan and Chris. We could go back to the Celtics-Pacers game. That was a heavyweight fight. And look at the way the Pacers celebrated when they won that game. If this was a regular season December game, they wouldn't celebrate like that. But because it clinched their spot in Vegas. And how about Giannis yesterday in the post-game press conference on the floor there when, I think it was Jared Greenberg maybe, told him, there's $100,000. No matter what happens, you advance to Vegas, you get $100,000. And he was like, really? He's like, he didn't even know, but he knew he was playing for something. And he said, oh, man, the rich get richer. That's what he said.
Yeah. Well,
which was hilarious.
Whether the league had any hand in it or not, that they're very relieved that they've got the Bucks advancing and they've got the Lakers advancing.
Right. And let's call it what it is. I understand fans, don't want to hear this. But from a business standpoint, obviously you want, competitive balance. But when you're looking at the bottom line, the dollars, you're trying to market your product, you're trying to sell tickets, the Lakers fan base, they travel. It's close to home right there. If it was, let's say, I don't know, I'm going to just throw somebody out there, Memphis again, if the Grizzlies were in there.
Shots at the Grizzlies.
No, they're struggling this year, and they know Ja Morant. They don't have any sizzle. So let's say if it was the Grizzlies-Pelicans semifinal. There's no sizzle there.
You're right.
It's entertainment and you're trying to sell tickets. So I get it. If behind the scenes, the league may be secretly pulling for one of their legacy franchises.
Yeah, and let's face it. And again, I'm not suggesting the league has, they're going to manipulate the results here at all. But I am saying, I think in a way it would legitimize the whole tournament if you have the Lakers and the Bucks, then it's like, wow, you got 2 of your best teams. Whereas if you end up with, say, Pelicans, Pacers, it's like, I think that'd be a little underwhelming.
Yeah.
I would love it as a fan of those teams and those players and small market teams. But the league would love to have 2 of their big name franchises going head to head. It kind of shows that, look, this was all worth it. We got 2 really good clubs playing for this title.
Yeah, exactly. And here's the thing. To your point, if it was, I'm not going to say Memphis this time. Let's say it's Detroit against Portland in the finals. Those two cities, they would love it. Their fan bases would. But the rest, all 28 other cities would be like, I'm not watching this. Right. And so ideally, you want your best teams. It's sort of like the NCAA tournament, March Madness. Everybody likes the upsets in the first round until you get a small market team versus a small market team in the championship. Then nobody's watching. You want the blue bloods. Sure, you want some of them to get knocked off, but you want Duke, Kentucky in the final, Kansas, UCLA in the final, something like that.
Yeah, I'm not saying the league is going to manipulate the results, but understand Dick Bavetta and Bob Delaney are going to come out of retirement to call the games in Las Vegas. Which I think is kind of curious.
Let me ask you this though, because we grew up as NBA fans. Do you think the officiating is better now versus when we were coming up? And I bring this up because we clearly, growing up, saw officials sort of openly combative with players, back in the day. You don't see that. Like, these guys, for the most part, remain pretty professional. But back in the 80s, if I knew, so-and-so was refereeing the game, oh, man, I know we're going to get it's not as much anymore. There's a couple of them, Scott Foster, some of those guys.
Foster and Chris Paul have a real thing going right now.
But I felt like that happened a lot more back in the day. And so I could argue the officiating is better today than it was back in the 80s.
I know this season, we haven't played that many games yet. Last season, I thought the officiating was wildly inconsistent. And obviously there are some truly great officials today, just as there were in days gone by. But last year, I thought the officiating at times was just head scratching. I think a lot of it has to do with some of the newer rules and interpretations of the rules. And, they've addressed that with some of the, what's the rip through? Is it legal? Is it not? What to travel now? But honestly, last year especially, I thought the officiating at times was impossible to even understand.
Yeah. I think, well, first of all, I'm going to just say officiating is very difficult, especially in today's game. These players are actors out there. They are Academy Award winners with some of theirs, and the nuances of the rules as well. The travel rule. Now there's the gather you can do, and then the two steps and all this. And so, I don't know what's a travel and what's not a travel anymore.
Right.
And so I know it's difficult for them. But when I look at the history of NBA officials, guys like Ken Mauer, pulled this up. Ken Mauer.
Joe Mauer's cousin, right?
Yeah. Earl Strom. Remember Earl Strom?
I do.
Dick Bavetta, obviously.
Nick Bavetta.
Yeah. Joey Crawford.
Yes.
Like, these guys, clearly, in my opinion, you could rattle them and get them upset, and they would go right back at you.
Mm-hmm.
You don't see that as more. So I think the emotion has been taken out of it to an extent, which is a good thing, I think, in the NBA.
Yeah, and I think in a way the officials have been neutralized. They've got to sit there. Oh, you didn't like that call?
Right.
Why didn't you like that? Tell me what you didn't like about it. All right, I'll keep an eye on it. We'll take a quick time out. We'll come back with more on the state of officiating in the NBA. Also, what would winning the the in-season tournament, what, if anything, would it mean for LeBron's legacy as the Drive guys keep rolling on Sactown Sports?
Domantas Sabonis plays here.
He finds Sabonis, put the frosting on the cake, put the cherry on the sundae. Sabonis with a two-hand flush makes it 114-106.
Sactown Sports is your proud home of the Sacramento Kings.
It's the season of performance event at Acura of Stockton. Elevate your driving experience with a vehicle that's built to impress. Lease a new Acura RDX or MDX. Acura of Stockton has a great selection of new Acuras and customer service that will exceed your expectations. Take luxury to a whole new level in a new Acura from Acura of Stockton or AcuraofStockton.com, where precision crafted performance is at your fingertips.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave letting you know Capital Casino, Sacramento's #1 poker room and primetime football location is back. Cap Casino giving away $500 per game in high hand bonuses for every Sunday, Monday, and Thursday night primetime game, offering the best food, best service, and the best action with the most variety of games in the region and conveniently located in downtown Sacramento. Check it out. Capital Casino. And as always, please remember to gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
The Drive Guys powering your afternoons Monday through Friday on Sactown Sports.
This is not true. Appreciate the text, but this is just not true. From the 510, Kevon Whitey, JaMychal Gleason loves the Lakers. I do not love the Lakers. It's good for the league that the Lakers, I guess, are playing now for the what do we call it? NBA Cup?
NBA Cup,
in the
yes.
semifinals for the
Yes.
NBA Cup.
Yes.
I was really pulling for those Suns last night, really pulling for the Phoenix Suns. But what does this mean for LeBron if he wins this thing? Big picture. We know that LeBron is one of those guys, one of the few guys that really has, an all-time great legacy and he's keenly aware, everything he does now is going to reflect future generations' look on his career, because people will be looking, is this the greatest player ever? So in those terms, what would winning this tournament mean for LeBron? Would it mean anything?
I think it would. I don't think it would mean anything in his chase to be better than Jordan, be the all-time greatest. But I think, and we talked about it, earlier this week, last couple weeks, to be the first champion of the in-season tournament, to be the first possibly in-season tournament MVP, and who knows what the in-season tournament will turn into. Right now, it's just a cool thing. All right, we're trying to learn. Who's to say in 10 years, it won't be something really great, really grand that teams really are going hard out for. I think it's big for LeBron.
And the main thing is, to me, it seems to matter to him. So that's
right,
why it's important.
Right. It's important. And, anytime you can go down as the first, think about it. There might be a little section in that Basketball Hall of Fame for the in-season tournament or something, just a little note, like you immortalize yourself, and there's nobody else that can say, you know what, we were the first team to win something.
Mm-hmm.
Fellas, who's the first team to win the NBA championship?
Was it the Warriors, Philadelphia?
Have no clue. Name anybody off the roster.
No, I'm going St. Louis Hawks with Bob Pettit back in 1957.
Does that
I have no idea.
Right now decipher anything of all the history that has happened in the NBA?
No, but back then the NBA, nobody cared about the NBA.
And let me say this, Jay, chiming in over there trying to diss what LeBron and them are doing right now.
Yeah,
I get it. I see where you're going with this.
You should be too.
I see where you're going with this.
Might be rocking the wrong purple.
Oh, he calling me out like, hey, I know who signs the checks, big fella. I know who signs the checks.
Let me
Come on now, slow
on.
your roll. Here's the thing, though. It means something to whoever won the first NBA championship. It may not mean nothing to me or to Whitey or but to the people that actually won it, as you pulled it up, right?
It was Philadelphia Warriors.
It was the Philadelphia Warriors.
Yeah.
Oh, well, then I'm definitely representing. Come on now. It means everything the first, No, but I think to the people that win it, it means a lot. Like I said before, I don't think this moves the needle in terms of his legacy or anything like that, the way he's viewed, next to Jordan. But for him and the other players, it's something that they can hang their hat on.
Well, that's the thing. Jay may be right. I was talking to somebody today who's been in the NBA a long time, and they said, hey, this is great, but in 4 years, nobody's going to care. Now, I don't see it that way. I hadn't considered that, but this is a view, someone who spent some time in the league saying, I just think this thing, once the novelty wears off, nobody's going to care. It's possible.
It's possible.
Or it's also possible that 20 years from now, people go, oh, remember the first one? That was the best one. And LeBron and the Lakers, because, the league.
Look at the Super Bowl.
The script's already done. The Lakers have already won this thing.
You don't think the league would want the Bucks and Giannis?
They want them in the finals.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. You haven't seen the script?
Tyrese and the Pacers? Nope. No, but think about it like this, fellas. The NBA, to Whitey's point, at the time was a small thing. It wasn't this
Really
huge
small.
entity. And so See, what you brought up with the person in the NBA who says 4 years nobody might not care. Who knows? Nobody cared that the Philadelphia Warriors won the first championship at 46, 47, whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's like it grew into this big thing. And who knows with this in-season tournament. And I believe over time, you might see some tweaks. Maybe it's an automatic playoff berth. Maybe it's an extra draft pick. Like, who knows what it's going to develop into. And so I do think it's here to stay. I think it's been great for the NBA. They're getting what they want out of it. More eyes, I think, are on it. More interesting games. And here we are, December 5th, 6th, talking about a Suns-Lakers basketball game.
Right.
Think about it.
Well,
it's in-season tournament.
They pulled it off. The NBA, one of the big reasons they wanted to do it is because they wanted to make the early season games more meaningful. Because, the NBA season really, in recent years, hasn't started until Christmas, right? Christmas Day, you have the games. That's when people start paying attention.
Right.
So the league recognized that. They decided to do something about it. I didn't think it would work, but it's worked so far. We're not even all the way through the first year yet, but so far, they've done it.
Yes, they have done it. And, before it started, everyone was sort of, why do we need this? Nobody cares or anything like that. But it was the same argument with the play-in tournament also, for the playoffs. Like, people are like, you play a whole season. Why do you need extra games to try and figure out who gets in and everything like that? And now we love the play-in tournament.
Yes,
exactly. And so the NBA has done a good job. Like I said, I think there'll be some tweaks, some changes. There's things you go on, you learn from it. Obviously, the court situation. I'm not too bothered by the courts either. Some of them are a little gaudy, but then you look at the Kings court. I'm okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
It looks fine to me. You look at the Bucks court, that looks fine.
Did you say, excuse me, but you mentioned earlier the Celtics are complaining about the court?
The quality of the court.
Oh,
well,
okay.
Yeah, like they say it's too slippery.
Okay.
And I will say there's a segment of that fan base who are like, what about our beloved parquet floor too?
I'm not even a Celtic fan, but I've had a problem with that.
But it's only a few games, White. It's two games.
But part of it could still be parquet floor.
Yeah.
It's the freaking Boston Celtics. I can't stand them. I could never stand them. But
in the whole scheme of life,
floor.
what does it hurt? Like, really, it's two basketball games.
Mm-hmm.
What does it hurt? It's sort of like, it was the Bucks a few years ago. Remember they played on the old Marquette court, the Mecca?
Yes, I do.
Well, that was a different floor. Was it the Bucks' original floor? And so I just...
what I remember about that is Kyrie said, it's not safe for us to play on this old floor. And someone had to point out to him, it's a replica.
Right. It's not the original from 1970, right?
Hey, Kyrie, no. It's not the old floor. It just looks like it.
Yes.
Jay, you mentioned, 46 first year of the NBA. If that was the first year of the NBA, I'm going to get in trouble for asking this question, but how are the Kings having their 100th anniversary? Okay, I'll go along with it, but the NBA's only been around since 1946.
Do we got to school you on this, Whitey?
No, I know the
you know the story. You know the story.
Yeah, okay.
It's
100 years.
Yeah, they've been playing basketball for maybe not the NBA.
Somebody has.
It hasn't been in the NBA, but there's been a team that over the years morphed into what we have right now, the Sacramento Kings.
Speaking of Jay, I was happy to give him finally the sugar cookies from Fat Cat Bakery. They delivered these back in November, and then you were gone, and I was gone, and you got your oatmeal raisin from Fat Cat Bakery.
You know why I like these cookies, and I haven't even tried them yet? I'm a big fat cookie guy. Like I like the massive size cookies, and it's chewy and everything.
Like
I don't like exactly, and that's why I like these. So shout out to Fat Cat Bakery. I can only probably have one, but man, I can't wait to dive into these.
Well, you got,
dude. My son likes oatmeal raisin also. Yeah, I appreciate it, man. This was a great day, man. I appreciate this. This is awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we appreciate your listening, Eric and everybody at Fat Cat Bakery. When we come back, the oddest thing about this Kings season, is it a good thing or a bad thing? By the way, 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140 if you want to weigh in on that travesty that we saw last night at the end of the Laker game. It's a drive, guys, on Sactown Sports.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sactown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sactown Sports app.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Pat Green and Diamond Rio. Live in concert, Saturday, December 9th, 7 p.m., the venue at Thunder Valley. Country music icons, Pat Green and Diamond Rio. With special guest, Mark Wills. On sale now at ThunderValleyResort.com. Pat Green and Diamond Rio.
This holiday season, create a fun and joyful memory for you and your loved ones. Come light the world and help those in need through the Giving Machine in the Roseville Galleria Mall, November 16th through December 10th, and in Modesto at Valley Fair Mall, December 11th through January 2nd. Choose from local charities serving your community or from global charities worldwide. Come feel the Christmas spirit at the Giving Machine. Learn more at givingmachine.greatersacramento-modesto.org.
Hey, it's Carmichael Day for my good friends at Fire Wings with some bullet points for you to remember so you can be a professional fire wing eater. Like Wings Day Wednesday, 88-cent wings each and every Wednesday. 3 flavor lineup includes 7 classic wing flavors, 7 dry rub wing flavors, 7 fusion wing flavors. It's the perfect fast casual eating establishment for the entire family. Go to firewings.com or download the app, find a location near you, order online, earn rewards. Fire Wings, just wing it.
At Ashton & Price, we get injury victims to yes. Experience, yes. Ashton & Price has been around for over 25 years. No more insurance companies? Yes. Our clients focus on getting better and we handle all the rest. Results? Yes. We've collected over $100 million for injury victims. No fee until we win? Yes. Our clients pay nothing until we win. Ashton & Price, the best at getting to yes. Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton & Price.
Christmas is in the air at Hanley's Kia. The season of giving back is bringing you an unbeatable deal on all 2024 Kia models. Drive home in style without breaking the bank. Introducing Hanley's Kia incredible leasing option for just $199 a month. Picture yourself behind the wheel of a brand new 2024 Kia, loaded with the latest features and cutting-edge technology. Whether it's the sleek Niro Hybrid with 54 mpg, an EV6 with up to 310 miles, the versatile Sportage, or the family-friendly Telluride. At Hanley's Kia, you can also reserve your luxurious full-size EV9 with 3 rows that has the comfort of a stylish interior and the peace of mind that comes with driving a brand you can trust. Head over to Hanley's Kia, the season of giving back today, located in Davis.
New 2024 Kia Niro Hybrid EX for $199 per month for 36 months after $7,999 customer cash due at signing plus $300 military customer rebate. 10,000 miles per year and 20 cents per mile after 30,000 miles based on sale price $30,545 and payment excludes taxes and DMV fees and any dealer fees. Vehicle ID number R5136138.
Imagine it's the final game of the season, but your symptoms of irritable bowel syndrome with constipation, or IBS-C, are making a comeback. What should you do? Keep managing your constipation with belly pain the same old way? Or try getting ahead of your symptoms by talking to your doctor about Linzess, linaclotide. Linzess is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. It's not a laxative. It's a once-daily pill that helps you get ahead of your symptoms. It's proven to help you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually.
Do not give Linzess to children less than 2. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling.
Imagine, what could relief from IBS-C mean for you? Talk to your doctor and say yes to Linzess. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS.
The Drive Guys, live and local, every afternoon, Monday through Friday on Sactown Sports.
An interesting little skirmish is broken out on the chat, YouTube chat here, Sactown Sports. Thanks for being with us. Basically, it comes down to who's better, LeBron or Michael Jordan, based on the eras, which, you know, normally when people are arguing about basketball in the eras, they're talking about the days when Wilt played as opposed to the days of today. But it's interesting. We've got that conversation going on now. Like, oh, the guys Michael Jordan played against, they'd they'd be plumbers today. I'd never heard that before. The reason I bring that up, it's an interesting conversation. I'm wondering what you think of this. I'm reading this book right now by a guy named, I think his name's Rich Cohen, and it's called When It Was a War. Basically, his whole premise is that 1987-88, that season, which was the Lakers beat the Pistons in the finals. He says that was the greatest season in NBA history because he says you had the Lakers right at the end of their dynasty. You had the Celtics. Their dynasty was just ending with Bird, great team. You had the Pistons that were about to become a 2-year mini dynasty. And on the horizon, you had those Bulls. So he says you had great players, which you do in any era. But this guy's contention is you had more great teams in that period, that year specifically, than we've ever had before. I don't know how you could ever, go about proving that.
Quantifying that.
I never thought of that before, and it's a really interesting point.
No, that was, when you look at it, probably the golden era of the NBA, because it was the end of the Larry Bird Celtics sort of coming to an end. Magic and them were still competing. They were still, they went back to the finals in 91, obviously. But when you look at it, to your point, those are legacy, franchises.
And they were all at one time.
All at one time.
Overlapping.
Lakers, Celtics, Pistons, Bulls, like you said. My only comparison, and I'm trying to think of it, could be maybe no, I can't even compare. I'm thinking when the Spurs were coming on, Lakers with Kobe and Shaq, but that was really only 2 teams at that time. I was thinking LeBron and the Cavs and the Golden State Warriors, but it was only 2 teams, Yeah. I needed an era where, and think about it, when you look at it too, Lakers won back-to-back. Pistons won back-to-back. Bulls won 3 in a row twice.
Yeah.
You had, multiple dynasties at once sort of going, and so, no, you're right. You're right, man.
Yeah. I'd never considered that before. One of the things that I think is different about that era for the most part is that back then, and this, 87, 88, early 90s, I do think there was more team pride. Team pride still exists, but now there are more guys, some players, not all, are more like businessmen where, hey, I'm playing for this team because you know what? They give me the most money.
Right.
I'm going to try to win. And it's understandable. I don't begrudge that. But I think in the 80s, late 80s into the 90s, you had more of that. This is my team. And I want to win for my team. And it was, in a way, almost a more innocent time.
Yeah, it was an innocent time. But when you look at that period, the owners had more power than they do now.
I understand.
The players are, their own businesses. They run things.
I don't begrudge
right
them.
now.
Yeah.
And from a marketing standpoint, the league markets individuals more. So they've empowered the players in that right. And so I think you look at a guy like Dominique, let's say, great career, never won a championship in Atlanta for nowadays. 5-6 years at one place. If you don't see the writing on, it's like, all right, I got to go somewhere else.
You better bring someone else in or I'm leaving.
Yeah, or I'm leaving. Now, is that a player issue? Is that a league issue? Is that an owner issue? Or is that a media fan issue? Have we created that where we invalidate people's careers if they don't win a championship? I'm watching TNT all the time, Chuck, Shaq, and all those guys. And Shaq, every single show, talks about his rings and the ones that Barkley doesn't. And so as a player, you don't want to be that guy ridiculed and not invited to the party, into the club, if you don't have a ring. And so that's why guys are jumping around so much.
And as you said, they just have more power. And so because there's so much money, they have the ability to say, I'm going to go find a better situation for me. And guys didn't have that freedom before. I will say, we mentioned this today on our podcast, I do think it's cool that you got right now in Sacramento 2 guys in Domas and De'Aaron Fox who want to be here, and they're taking pride in Kings and in building something. Not everybody has that, but that's why this team is so beloved. One of the reasons is because we haven't had that a lot here in Sacramento, Kyle. Sometimes we have guys here, they come here, it's like, well, I'll make the best of it. And then sometimes they do, and they grow to love it. But these guys both want to be here. And it's refreshing and it's different.
It really is. And what you're saying is Sacramento is becoming a hip place, a cool place for players. I think you look at what happened with Malik Monk. But to your point with De'Aaron Fox, I was just talking about a guy 5-6 years in saying, all right, De'Aaron's never said that. He's never, despite all the losing, and let's keep it real, Kings fans, if De'Aaron after year 5 said, you know what, I want out of here, I wouldn't begrudge him because of what he's had to go through here, from a personnel standpoint, a general manager's head coach standpoint.
Oh, yeah.
But he stuck it out. And I think
broadcasters did.
No, before me, I'm talking to. Before me, I feel you, dear. Before me, But I just think it's, and I think that's also, and I hate to always bring this up because this is a sore spot for people. That was also why it was so hard to see Tyrese Halliburton go as well, because he also embraced it and wanted to be here and wanted to change things here in Sacramento.
Yeah, that's right. So you should look at the Kings record right now, 11-8. One of the things that we've talked about, and you can't help but notice it's a little odd, is that they have 8 losses, but they've only lost to 4 different teams, right? Warriors twice, Rockets twice, Pelicans 3 times now, and the Clippers 1. So as you look at that, hey, they've only lost to 4 teams. Do you see that is that like a positive or is it a negative?
I think it's a positive. I think, if they were, getting ran out, and you look at the teams that they're losing to. Warriors, as much as I give them mess, they're going to be a playoff team. Pelicans, they're going to be right there in the mix too, I think. Houston, maybe you can look back and say, you know what, they're going to be on the outside looking at. Losing to the Clippers, there's nothing wrong with that. And so now if they're losing, they got Brooklyn coming up on Monday. Then that's a concern for me. I think you got the Clippers after that. You got Washington coming up. If you're losing those games, then I would be concerned. With that being said, come April, late March, I'm looking at the standings, and if I'm the 3 seed and I see the Pelicans possibly as the 6 seed, I don't know, Whitey. I might be trying to do some maneuvering. I'm just saying. Wow. It's just matchups that I just don't want to see. And we talked about it last year, too, towards the end of the regular season. Man, you don't want to see the Warriors in the playoffs. You don't want to, and we almost had them. We should have had them. But there's a reason why they're the champs and they're the Warriors. That Game 7, they got us. And that was the biggest reason why, because they're not going to just fold or lay down or anything like that. They have championship medal, championship pedigree, and that's why we lost. And so, if in April, late March, you start looking at the matchups, and I'm not saying lose on purpose, but maybe you try to catch the 2 seed or something like that to get a more favorable matchup.
Yeah, I see that side of it. I think ultimately, to me, the fact that you've lost only to 4 teams, there's a real downside to it, and it's this. Well, and we've seen it especially with the Pelicans. Like, they beat you. All right, you know what they are. You know how you need to beat them, and you can't do it. All right, you get another chance. Wow, you still can't do it. And when you lose to some of these teams repeatedly, Houston, we know you were there calling the games, and you got shoved around. There's been a similar pattern in some of these games. The Warrior thing is they're a fine team, and they finally beat them. But Houston and the Pelicans, the way they were more physical than the Kings, and they beat the Kings at things that the Kings know and recognize they need to be better at. That's what's troubling to me. The 3 losses to the Pelicans, to me, make it clear that, you know what, if you want to be the team that you want to be and expect to be this year, there are going to have to be some adjustments, if not changes made.
So it's not necessarily the team, but it's the style at which you're losing these games. It's like, it's clear as day we have trouble with long, physical, athletic teams.
Right.
Yeah, I hear you on that.
Yeah.
And there's a few of them out there.
Exactly.
And so if you run into them in the playoffs, what are you going to do?
Yeah. If you have problems with that type of team, you can't really expect to win a championship.
Right. You can't, duck and dodge and try and hide, or anything like that. No, I get your point. It's sort of like, when you look at the NFL, if a quarterback has trouble against zone coverage, you can't just all of a sudden, I hope they only play man-to-man, or you hope you run into a less physical team. I mean, you're going to find one at some point as you progress in the playoffs.
If there's an upside, perhaps it is that, okay, you learn that in December, and then you've got plenty of time to figure it out whatever it is you're going to do about that.
Yeah.
Whether that is make a deal, whether that is lineup adjustments, whatever it is, you've got a lot of time to recognize, all right, we have to do some things to get to where we want to be.
Yeah, and I look at a team like Denver. They were able to play any different style. You You look at the Lakers, horrible matchup for Golden State. Well, Denver made quick work of them.
Right.
Denver, has built a team that they can run with you. They can grind you out in the half court. They can win by defense as well. They can win by shooting. And so if you're Monte McNair, you want that versatility from your team, right? You don't want to just, I look at the Indiana Pacers this year, having a solid season. But their thing is we're just going to try to run and outscore you. As we know in the playoffs, it slows down a little more physical. You can't just do that. And the Kings learned that last season. And so if I'm Monty, I'm trying to build a roster that can win multiple different ways.
Yeah, and I think it's fascinating that the Kings, it appears, Mike Brown especially, has looked at last year and saw the success, of course, and enjoyed the success of last year, but said, we don't want to be that again.
Right.
I mean, we want to win a lot of games,
right.
but the team that just plays offense and blows the doors off people, that's great, but we probably can't count on that year to year. So we have to be more than that. And they're in the process of figuring out how they're going to do that.
Yeah, and Scooter 916 on the YouTube chat raises an interesting question, Whitey, and we've sort of talked about this before. Drapes and Whitey, you both make great points. I feel like we have an identity crisis at the moment. Does that seem off base? What do you think? I think we know who we are, but we're not who we want to be.
I agree.
If that's it.
Yeah. And backing up again, I know we talked about a lot yesterday when Kevin Herter talks about they want us to do this and that's making it hard to do the things that we did before. It's pretty clear that the organization, Mike Brown specifically, is saying this is what we've been, but we need to be this as well now. And it's not easy for the team.
It's not easy, but, and one thing we're seeing, they're sort of trying to change on the fly overnight. It's like
with the same people.
With basically. The same people, right?
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
If you want to be a tough, hard-nosed defensive team, well, you're going to have to go out there and get tough, hard-nosed defensive players. And so Mike Brown's asking a lot of his team, even Keegan Murray. Let's talk about that really quickly here. I don't think anybody looked at Keegan as a defensive stopper last season, but Mike Brown is putting him on some of the game's best players and asking a lot of him defensively. So I think Mike Brown is asking something from his guys that we haven't seen yet. Mm-hmm. Can they get there? I don't know. That will be left to be seen. But he's asking something out of his players, and we have to hope that they can actually deliver on that.
Are the Kings right now dealing with an identity crisis? 339 1140, 1-800-920-1140. The conversation rolls on with the Drive Guys when we come right back on Sactown Sports.
Will Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers brass go all the way this season? Could the Niners win their first Super Bowl since 1995? Join us throughout the season to hear all the games and all the analysis on Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com.
This holiday season, Good Guys Heating and Cooling is turning up the warmth and spreading joy with our Toys for Tune-Ups promotion. Schedule your tune-up or troubleshooting appointment, and with a donation of a new unwrapped toy at the time of your service, we'll waive the fee. It's our way of giving back and making a difference in the lives of local children who might not have the Christmas that every child deserves. All toys will benefit Children's Hope, a wonderful local foster charity right here in Sacramento. Call Good Guys Heating and Cooling at 530-GOOD-AIR to schedule your appointment, or book online at goodguysheatingcooling.com. Happy holidays from the Good Guys family. License number 1057-618.
Family-owned Mercedes-Benz of Stockton invites you to take advantage of a special certified pre-owned Mercedes finance rate of 3.39% APR for up to 36 months on select 2020, 2021, and 2022 models. This makes buying a pre-owned Mercedes-Benz a great way to turn a humdrum holiday season into a ho-ho-ho, look what Santa got me holiday season. Your best holiday gift ever awaits you at Mercedes-Benz of Stockton, mbofstockton.com.
49ers Report, brought to you by E.B. Stone. E.B. Stone, for the life of your garden. The 49ers walked into Philadelphia and took care of business last Sunday, stopping the Dirty Birds 42-19. Quarterback Brock Purdy had 314 yards passing, while Deebo Samuel contributed 138 total yards and 3 touchdowns. The Red and Gold are now one game out of the top spot in the NFC and will look to keep their winning streak going when they face Seattle at home in Week 14.
Celebrating over a century as a family-owned business, E.B. Stone has gathered invaluable insights into nurturing plant growth. Venture into indoor planting with E.B. Stone's Edna's Best indoor and outdoor potting soil. Watch your little plants flourish into ideal indoor companions for the whole family to relish during the holidays. E.B. Stone's indoor and outdoor potting soil is a meticulously crafted blend of essential ingredients. Your plants will thrive, both indoors and outdoors. Trust E.B. Stone for the entire lifespan of your garden. Explore more gardening tips, products, and find nearby locations at ebstone.org. Wishing you a season filled with joy and flourishing green.
At Jim Boy's Tacos, you get a ho lot of flavor for under $10. Our classic #2 combo meal spreads cheer with a farm-dusted ground beef taco, scratch-made bean and cheese burrito, and a soft drink. So jingle on down to Jim Boy's or order online at participating locations. Woo-hoo-hoo!
It's Credit Christmas at Prestigio Jewelers. Get the gifts you want this year. Prestigio guarantees your credit up to $10,000. It's easy. Have a valid ID, proof of income, and be 18 or older. Prestigio has competitive pricing on all jewelry such as gold chains, wedding sets, diamond earrings, and designer brands like Cartier, Gucci, Bulova, and Citizen. Rebuild your credit, even with a repo or a bankruptcy, at Prestigio Jewelers. This Christmas, come for the credit and be amazed by the selection at Prestigio Jewelers. Online at prestigiojewelers.com.
The Drive Guys powering your afternoons Monday through Friday on Sactown Sports.
I got to give credit to Kings fans. A lot of Kings fans based on the responses we're getting so far here. YouTube chat, text line, or calls. Kings fans doing a lot better for the most part than I was doing with the result of that Laker game last night, seeing the Lakers get the benefit of that horrible call. I guess maybe at some point, Kyle, I just got to let it go, right?
You just got to let it go.
2002 was a long time ago.
It was a long time ago, but I feel you, Sacramento Kings fans. I understand. You just know when you face the Lakers, you can't beat them by 1 or 2. You got to beat them by 10 or 15. You know what I mean? You can't let it come down to the final minute or two because LeBron is going to get the calls. We know that.
Typically, I really appreciate it when a player refuses to complain about a controversial call. I know Devin Booker posted, I think it was on Instagram, and he had a picture of him with the ball while LeBron's asking for the timeout, and he took it down.
Durant, did he take it down? Okay.
Yeah. Durant was asked about it. He said, you know what? Doesn't come down to one call like that. And I wanted him to be mad. Usually a guy does that, as he did earlier this year when he got, the Spurs did some things to him to steal the ball that they're actually illegal in 3 states, and they stole the ball.
Oh, yeah, remember that?
Yeah.
Remember,
and he said, you know what? It doesn't come down to one call. I should have taken care of the ball. But I wanted him to be angry last night and say, there's no way they should have gotten a timeout. But KD was like, I guess, there's a little zen in that. I don't know. But like, hey, you know what? It doesn't come down to one play like that. We still had our chances.
Yeah, but and what people will say, well, there's a million calls throughout the rest of the game. There's a million, but no. When it's the final seconds of a game, the ball's rolling on the floor, like that directly impacts the outcome. So I'm with you, man. I'm surprised they aren't more upset about that.
Yeah, Frank Vogel wasn't happy about that, but the league's happy, not because they had anything to do with it, but because now they get the Lakers moving on to Vegas. And that's part of it too. It makes it harder for me that the Kings are not going to Vegas. The fact that the Lakers are makes it harder to accept.
Yeah.
And I wanted to see the Kings and the Lakers. That would have been great.
No, you're right, man. That would have been a huge matchup, a great matchup. And, not only to see the Lakers, I want to know how the Kings fans feel about this. You see Tyrese Halliburton in Vegas also. And there's this narrative with Tyrese. We love Tyrese. I'm a big fan of Tyrese. But I don't know if it's the league that's pushing him, the media, whatever. But he is the golden child of the NBA right now. There's talk of him in the MVP conversation where our guy De'Aaron Fox is putting up just as good numbers, better scoring numbers, obviously. The Kings have a better record, but yet Tyrese is getting all that love. And so he's the golden child, man. So you throw in LeBron, you throw in Tyrese, and it's like we're rooting for a Bucks-Pelicans finals here in Sacramento right now.
I love Tyrese. I did not like it when they traded him. I was doing some stuff in the Bay Area at the time he was drafted, and I thought, wow, the Warriors should have taken him maybe even as high as 2. He was that good. But let's just, since we're talking about it, let's just settle this once and for all here. Because there's, after Tyrese had the big triple-double Monday, there was more talk of, maybe the Kings, maybe they kept the wrong guy. That there's nothing to that narrative. It makes no sense because A, the Kings had Tyrese and Fox here at the same time and it didn't work. And B, keeping Tyrese Halliburton and getting Sabonis was not an option.
Right.
You couldn't do that. So
Right.
it's ridiculous to suggest, they should have handled that differently.
If you would have not made the trade, you would not be in the position you are right now. Now, if
Yes.
Kings fans still want to be, losers and missing the playoffs, okay, you can say that. But that trade directly has impacted the Kings and led them to winning. Without that trade, you're not in the position you are right now.
Mm-hmm. Do you think we're at a point here where Monty McNair has to stare down the barrel of another potentially huge but potentially very risky deal this year?
That's a great question. And, I wouldn't put anything past Monty McNair if he feels like it will improve the team. But when you say risky, huge, to me, I hear Fox, Sabonis, or Keegan. Those are the three, anything outside of that.
Really?
Yeah, is, I could understand it. I could understand it. So, when you say that, I'm talking shocking.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it wouldn't be shocking if he moved on from some of the other guys, but if he traded one of those three, that would be shocking.
To me, one of the biggest risks would be, and I know we've talked about this and you know this, but if you were to get rid of some of your current and future assets to bring in a guy who makes you better right away, but may not be here. And of course, we're talking about the two guys in Toronto.
You have to know you're going to re-sign those guys. You can't trade, because when you do make that trade, not only are you giving up draft capital, you're giving up a couple of key members of your team probably, and so just for a 6-month rental or a 4-month rental, I would have to know these guys are re-signing and going to be here. And so
I go back and forth on it, but I think you're right.
Yeah. And what Kings fans, I think, and this is just my personal opinion, what we're about to discover is that the NBA is a cruel business. As much as we love loyalty and try to reward loyalty, Monty McNair's job, the organization's job, is to win a championship, compete for a championship. Now, the moves might not always work out, but in the interest of trying to get better, sometimes you're going to have to maybe lose a fan favorite a la a Tyrese Halliburton.
Don't you think, everything else being equal, OG and Anunoby is a perfect fit here? And I'm not talking about what it would cost to get him, but just in a perfect world, if you could say, hey, why don't you come over here? Don't you think he'd be a perfect fit?
Yeah, he's a tough, hard-nosed player, a true two-way player who I think hasn't even scratched how good he could be offensively. We know he could be good defensively. For some reason, he hasn't taken the leap offensively in Toronto. I think we can unlock him a little more. But no, you're right. I love OG as a player. He's the kind of player that I think the Kings need, not only on the defensive end, but he has upside still left on the offensive end as well. And so
that's why I go
would
back
love
and
it.
forth, because I'm with you. It's like, that's perfect.
Yes.
Short term, near term.
Short term.
Yeah, and beyond that, what do you give up
But,
to get him?
right.
And then what if you give up future assets to get him, and then he's here for the rest of the season, and then he says, see you later.
Does OG make you a championship contender? Does he, you look at what Toronto did with Kawhi Leonard, for instance. That was a rental. That was a 1-year thing, and he brought him a championship. Was it worth it for them? Would it be worth it for Sacramento to do a 1-year rental or a half-season rental if it got you to the NBA Finals?
If it got you to the finals, yeah. I don't know if you're close enough. But again, this is what I've been wrestling with, because there's times when I see it the way you just laid it out, like it's too risky. There's other times I think he's such a good fit, and you've got a good team now. Who knows when you're going to have a shot at being anywhere near the finals again? Why not roll the dice? But I don't think Monty McNair looks at it that way.
Yeah, I don't think he looks at it that way. And I'm trying to wrap my head around, Whitey, whoever we get, who's the player that actually makes us a championship contender? Who makes us a finals contender? Is it Zach LaVine? Is it Caruso? Is it OG? Is it Pascal Siakam? I don't know. I don't know if that player's out there right now. For this season I'm talking about, who makes us a championship contender?
Siakam is generally considered a bigger star and better player than Anunoby. I don't know that he fits as well, but, I mean, he's a guy that could be available. Toronto would, because they're going to lose him anyway. You could probably get one of those guys.
Here's the thing. As much as I love Siakam, I like OG, I think you need a bona fide number 2. Like you look at, like, for instance, Denver. Jamal Murray has never played in an all-star game, but playoff Jamal Murray is a real
Pretty
thing.
good player.
That's a pretty darn good player. That's a top 20 player in the NBA. You know, Pascal at his best when it's time to win a championship, can he be that guy, a top 15 player?
Maybe, but he needs the ball a lot, and then that throws everything else you're doing out of whack.
You know, I think you need, you know, a Devin Booker type, Kevin, like, you got to go against those guys. You got to go against LeBron and AD. You got to go against Steph Curry. Like, who are the guys that are going to put you over the top against those teams?
Tom Tuwitty on the chat says, better to compete for 4 seasons more than to go for it this season and not make it the next 3 years.
You buying that? You buying that?
Yeah, deep down, I believe that's right. But it's just, I feel like, boy, you got a chance to do something this year, and you never know when you're going to have chances like that.
Yeah. But when I look at, you know, what we have in the Western Conference, if those moves, like, to me, getting Kawhi Leonard for Toronto was a no-brainer. That's a no-brainer for them. That Kawhi Leonard's a top 10 player when healthy in this league. Does OG really move that needle that much?
Not that much. No,
There's no
way.
It's just Pascal Siakam move that needle that much.
But okay, the other side is you don't do that this year.
But to Tom's point in the YouTube chat, you're slowly building. You know, we had this conversation the other day. You look at what Denver did. They didn't do a quick fix and win overnight. They had some heartbreak. They had some setbacks. They had some injuries, but they kept with the slow grind. They kept their core together, kept building, tinkering here or there, and then bam, they eventually broke through.
The danger, though, don't you think, is you don't want to be in that middle ground where you're neither one of the best teams in the league that's legitimately competing, nor are you a team that's tanking and stockpiling. You don't want to be in that middle ground where it's hard.
Or do you? Let me ask you this, and I hear your point, and I used to think that as well. And I know this team hasn't won a championship, but Miami's been that ever since LeBron left. They've never bottomed out. They've never went out there and got the biggest of the biggest free agents. And so I could argue that there's something about organizational culture and trying to build that and nurture that where, you know, Miami's been to the finals 2 or 3 times. You know, sure, they haven't won it, but they've been in the mix even despite some of their regular season success. And so if I'm Sacramento, that's what's so great about this game, Whitey. It depends on however Monty McNair thinks. You know, does he swing for the fences? Does he pull a Daryl Morey and trade for a James Harden type? Or do you slowly build it like they did in Denver?
More on that when we come back. Also, look at how we could improve the very successful in-season tournament. As the Drive Guys roll on Sactown Sports.
It's that time of year again. Sactown Sports is welcoming Santa back to town for the 40th annual Santa Parade, Saturday, December 9th in downtown Sacramento. Grab the family and join us as we celebrate Santa's arrival with marching bands, superheroes, cheer squads, and more. Parade starts at 10 a.m. at 14th and N.
We'll see you Saturday, December 9th in downtown for the Santa Parade with Shriners Children's Northern California, California National Guard, and Attic Man Heating and Air Conditioning. Get more information at SactownSports.com.
Fill your game day cooler with the refreshing taste of Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea. Smooth, real brewed tea with a 5% kick of alcohol. Look for the bright yellow cans. Twisted Tea. Keep it twisted.
Twisted Tea Brewing Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Please drink responsibly.
O'Reilly. Cleaning your fuel system can help your engine run better and improve gas mileage. Visit O'Reilly Auto Parts and pick up a bottle of Chevron Techron Fuel System Cleaner. On sale now. Buy one, get one free. Plus, get 2 times O-Rewards points. Get more fuel-saving tips from the professional parts people at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts or visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Do you have a game plan for COVID-19? Prescription oral treatments must be taken within the first 5 days of symptoms, even if mild. If you have a high risk factor, ask your doctor if treatment is right for you. Visit treatcovid19.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
At Elk Grove Honda, not only do we have a great selection of pre-owned certified cars at very fair prices, but every one of our pre-owned automobiles are treated with kid gloves with a 182-point inspection that covers everything from unibody to tires to brakes and engine filters. Then our certified cars receive a mobile oil change and fresh fill-up with full synthetic mobile oil. We know you have lots of choices of where to purchase your next car. Come to Elk Grove Honda, home of the 182-point inspection and mobile oil change. We're in the Elk Grove Auto Mall, Highway 99 at Elk Grove Boulevard.
Bonneville International Radio Station contests are open to participants at least 18 years of age and older that are residents of California and who reside in one of the 6 counties that make up the Sacramento metro area, unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contest are not eligible to win, unless the station otherwise specifies in its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 30 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. For a copy of the general contest rules, visit khtk.com.
On December 9th, witness a mind-bending show like no other with The Clairvoyants Holiday Spectacular at Gold Country Casino Resort in Oroville, featuring mind-reading, magic tricks, and illusions, with a special appearance from Mr. Coney Handini, the world's first mind-reading dog. Get your tickets now to see The Clairvoyants live, only at
Gold Country Casino Resort.
Okay, 21 or older.
As we come together to celebrate the end of this long, long year, Stockton Honda has savings to bring us all cheer. Happy Honda Day savings and selection galore. Stockton Honda's online express purchase and great people give you more.
Save on 400 new Hondas at Stockton Honda during Happy Honda Days. Shop in person or online with our express purchase option.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento.
Take it on the local level. Live and local, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., Monday through Friday.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, Sactown Sports. The only station in Sacramento giving you local sports coverage from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. Sactown Sports.
It's raining in the River City, and the Drive Guys and the smartest listeners in radio in a somewhat reflective mood right now as we ponder where the Kings go from here. 11-8, that's terrific, right? But it does feel like, after losing to the Pelicans again, this team may need to make some kind of moves if they want to become the contender they hope to be. So do the Kings need to pull the trigger on a major move, take a risk on bringing in a big name this year, or is the slow build the way to go? Kyle Draper, for the most part here on the chat, on the text line, I think most people see it the way you do. For example, here from the 916, we give up a bunch of assets to bring in one superstar player. Say one of our other superstars gets hurt, that dream ends there. I think people are comfortable with a slower, steadier build.
Yeah. Let me turn on my mic here. Let me get it organized here. I am also, unless something presents itself, it has to be a no-brainer. For instance, throw out the salary. Don't yell at me about the salary cap on a YouTube or on the phone line or anything like that. Let's just say, and this is a hypothetical, Whitey, I want to play this game with you.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's saying they wants the slow grind, the slow build. Let's say the Celtics say, how about Jaylen Brown?
Yep.
Right. It just depends on the level of player, right? Pat Riley used to always say, you get the talent, you worry about the fit later, and if you can upgrade the talent, and Jaylen Brown, they haven't won it yet, but we know he's at that level. He's knocking on the door. They're probably favorites right now to win it all. If you can move somebody and bring in a Jaylen Brown on this team, come on, man, you would do it. So forget that slow build. I will say, though, you don't want an aging superstar. You don't want to do what Phoenix did, bring in a Bradley Beal. You don't want to do that. Right. Work. Exactly. You want somebody who's in the same sort of timeline as a De'Aaron Fox, Domantas Sabonis. So it's not, in my opinion, just a one-shot deal. It can be a 3, 4, 5-year run.
We also have this on the text line. And by the way, when you send us a text, thanks, but put your name on it.
They scared.
Yeah.
They scared. They ain't about that life on the text line. They scared.
The Warriors got rid of a fan favorite, and the owner got booed when they traded Monte Ellis. You got to make the tough move sometimes. Yeah, if the Warriors didn't make that trade, Steph Curry's not Steph Curry. Or
exactly,
they could have traded Steph Curry to the Bucks. The Bucks said, "Nah, well, we don't want the guy with the bad ankles. We'll take Monte Ellis." That's a fact.
Think about that,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
The bad ankles saved the Warriors on so many levels. You didn't have to pay Steph the max deal. If he would have been healthy, his contract, maybe you're not able to bring in KD. Things fell perfectly for the Warriors. But back to the Kings, when you look at it, they got a number 4 overall pick that hasn't even really scratched the surface of who he can be.
So much depends on
so
him.
much. I think so, because we know what Fox is. We know what Sabonis is. We need that third guy. And Keegan, as the number 4 overall pick, you pick somebody at number 4, you're thinking multiple-year all-star. If he develops into that, then bam, and we're in business.
I don't think there's any question Monte McNair's done a great job. He deserved the extension, right? There's no question.
Right, no question.
But it is true, when you're trying to build a real contender in a small market, you probably have to draft extremely well.
Yes.
And he's had some great drafts. But, the Davion pick is one you'd like to have back at this point, right?
Yeah, number 9 overall pick. And I'm going to have to, let me look at that draft, actually, and see, how we always do it. Who,
Well, that's a good
a redraft,
Uh-huh.
Who would you take? And so when I look at Tyrese was a hit.
And you got
DeMontis Sabonis. Exactly. How about Keegan Murray?
Mm-hmm.
Are we saying that's a hit? We
sure hope so. It looks like it.
Okay, all right. And so he's had 3 drafts so far, and 2 of them he's hit on in the first round.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Yeah, and last year was a kind of a
They
free space.
Yeah,
They
free
didn't make it
space. Right. You didn't have and that's the thing. When you look at, to your point, a small market team. Look at all the small market teams that have advanced in the playoffs, been a contender. Milwaukee. Well, they drafted Giannis. I'm going to even throw Portland in there. They drafted Dame Lillard. And so you have to
consider
hit.
Denver smaller or not really smaller market?
Yeah, I'm going to consider
The
them.
Spurs, certainly.
Yeah, Spurs. Like, you got to hit.
Yeah.
And not just hit on, good players. You got to get all-star MVP caliber players. And that's what those small markets have done. The Kings, they got to do that again. Like, hopefully Keegan turns into that guy.
There's 4 ways you improve your team. There's free agency,
Mm-hmm.
there's trade, there's draft, and there's player development.
Yes.
And when you're a smaller market, you don't necessarily have the advantage that other bigger markets do, when it comes to attracting free agents.
Right.
Trades also, guys don't necessarily want to be traded to you. So you have to ace the draft and you have to ace the player development.
Yes. And I'm looking at Davion's draft here, 2021, if we want to play that game. And you guys can hit us up, 916-339-1140. Davion drafted number 9. I'm looking at some of the players right behind him. Zaire Williams.
He's been a disappointment.
James Bouknight.
Nope.
Josh Primo.
No, unfortunately.
Chris Duarte.
You got him anyway.
You got him. Moses Moody.
Maybe.
Corey Kispert. The one is Alperen Şengün.
Yes.
That's one. I could also argue Trey Murphy, who we saw here with the Pelicans.
Mm-hmm.
He's been pretty good. But after that, there hasn't been anybody that's,
Well, yeah. And in all fairness, if you have a guy you picked and then there's a ton of guys after him that went on to succeed, you blew it. But in this case,
it's almost, and I think I forget
other teams wanted Davion too.
I forget where I heard this, Whitey, or read this. Somebody said, and it might have been our good friend Antonio Daniels on Sirius XM Radio. He said, after the top 5 picks or so, it's really a crapshoot. Like, you really are, throwing darts at the board. It's hit or miss. And, every year there's a couple of guys, that you're like, yes, this guy is going to be. But if you don't have that top 2 or 3 pick, it's a crapshoot after that.
So you have to draft those guys. And that's why, again, it comes down to Keegan has to become something close to the player they envisioned he'd be. It's understandable right now. He's hurt, but so much of this whole picture right now depends on his development.
Yeah, and let me ask you, because you mentioned the pillars of a small market, draft, free agency, player development. Now, we can have that conversation with the Kings and how's their player development. I think, the jury is still kind of out, because when you look at players that they've added, Tyrese, well, they traded away, so we don't know. Davion, still trying to develop. Keegan, the jury is still out. And so we don't even know how good or not good the Kings player development is, because we haven't seen it long enough. Remember, this is only the second year for Mike Brown, the second year under this regime. And so, I think we do need to let it play out 3 or 4 years before we really can tell, all right, they're great at developing players.
Yeah. Well, I mean, do you give them any player development credit for the way Kevin Huerter played last year? I know he wasn't a rookie or anything, but whether you do or not, I mean, how Duarte plays this year is going to be kind of a litmus test of that as well.
Yeah.
The guy you bring in and you hope with our player development will make him the player that he was supposed to be. He's just been hurt.
Yeah, he's just been hurt. And, but there's a difference between player development and system, too. I think Kevin Huerter, you bring him here, he's playing with a passing big man. He's not playing with a ball-hogging point guard like Trae Young. And so we're going to see a better version of Kevin Huerter. I don't think he's not doing anything that he hasn't done in Atlanta. He's just getting more of an opportunity, I feel like now. Same thing with Chris Duarte. We're seeing some development defensively for him, but Chris Duarte, I think was being held back in Indiana. And so are we going to let these guys flourish? I don't know if that means development per se, but just they're giving the opportunity.
Now, our friend Campio.
This guy.
He says player development is a fallacy.
That's you know what? Campio, you're my guy. You follow me on Twitter. And so exactly. That's the most, can I say asinine? I said, that's the most asinine thing I've ever heard. What do you mean player development is a fallacy? Look at Kawhi Leonard in San Antonio.
Exactly.
Kawhi Leonard does not become Kawhi Leonard if he stays in Indiana and they hold his rights. You could look at, there's a reason why we said Victor Wembanyama, he went to a great situation. San Antonio, we've seen them make the best out of David Robinson, Tim Duncan, and now, come on, Campio, you're better than that, man. That's come on.
I know we don't like to give the Warriors a lot of credit, but I mean, look at how they develop some of the young players like Curry and Klay Thompson, even and Draymond Green.
Right,
I mean,
look
did
at
a
that.
Good job with that.
Draymond's not Draymond if he doesn't go to Golden State. That's player development. Come on. And Campio says players make it to the league with what they have. Players play 12 years before they get to the NBA playing their style. Very few add another skill to their game style. That's not true at all, because when you look at the NBA, most players play the same way in middle school, high school, because they're the man. In the NBA, it's a different ball game. There's a reason why a Jaden Ivey can't get on the floor out there in Detroit. It's because you got to learn the game and understand the game. And I think, depending on your franchise, I think organizational structure means something. And if you go to the proper organization, then you'll develop and become a player, a la Kawhi Leonard.
Yep. 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. You want to see the Kings make some more moderate moves this year, hold it together, or is it time for a big, bold move to take a big swing at advancing deep into the playoffs? What do you think? More on that, more on Harrison Barnes, one of yesterday's hottest topics, and we still got to get back around to how the NBA can actually improve the in-season tournament. We'll do that when we come right back on Sactown Sports.
Can the Niners build off their NFC Championship appearance from last season? How will the quarterbacks perform throughout the year?
Purdy back, now going to throw for the end zone, wide open, Brandon Ayuk is on fire!
Will the defense lead this squad again?
Intercepted! Ball got tipped up and taken by Fred Warner!
Get all your 49er coverage throughout the NFL season on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
Yep, 'tis the season. Hi, if you're like me, you take pride in your gift giving. Well, I've got a terrific idea for you. Gift cards from the Good Feet store. Okay, so arch supports aren't exactly what they've been hinting for, but they'd love them. And with the Good Feet lifetime warranty, it's a gift they'll enjoy forever. Buy a Good Feet gift card now, and Good Feet will boost its value 20%. That's a 20% gift free from the Good Feet store. If you have someone on your list who's on their feet all day, Has sore feet, knee, hip, or back pain, or even plantar fasciitis? Maybe needs an energy boost or just wants to maintain their active lifestyle? A Good Feet Arch Support gift card could be the perfect gift.
The Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, Stockton, Modesto, and Vacaville. Online at goodfeet.com.
This segment is brought to you by Light the World Giving Machine.
Your home for Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
Sactown Sports.
We've been talking about player development, how important it is to the success of especially a small market franchise. Drive guys, Kyle Draper, Kevin Michael, Whitey Gleason here. We have this from Scooter916. Thanks, Scoot. I was mentioning as we talked about player development that the Warriors did a good job with their player development of guys like Curry and Clay and Draymond. But he says, hey, part of the problem with the Warriors is they're not doing well with development now. They've had a lot of misses with key young guys lately, haven't they? Yes, you're absolutely right. When Durant left, the Warriors said, we are really focusing now on player development, so we'll have our next wave of stars. And, of course, that was supposed to be Jordan Poole and Kuminga and Wiseman. And I don't know if you remember Eric Paschall. Remember Eric Paschall?
I remember him.
Second team All-Rookie.
Yeah.
And you're right. You're right. That has not worked out. So just because it's not easy, though, doesn't mean it's not important.
Yeah, and here's the thing. You look at the Warriors, that's been their issue the last few years, player development. Not that these guys don't have talent. If we're going by Campio's theory, Moody isn't that good. Kuminga hasn't warranted more minutes.
Kevon Looney.
Yeah, there you go, Kevon Looney. Look at how they've developed him.
Yes.
What about Wiseman?
Nobody.
Right. Don't say it like that, though. You made it.
Well, I mean,
like
by
that.
NBA standards, he was like a second
right.
round. Yeah, and now, I mean, we know here all too well what he's capable of.
Yeah, yes, we do. But you know, that's been the issue with the Warriors, their lack of development of these young players. And I don't know if that's an organizational issue or more so a Steve Kerr issue, because develop behind it. How about Jordan Poole? Did they develop him?
To a degree.
Yeah, to a degree, and then it went
yeah.
sideways. But the reason why Jordan Poole was able to develop is because Steve Kerr gave him playing time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Steve Kerr hasn't allowed Kuminga and Moody to make their mistakes, or Wiseman to make their mistakes and play through them. And so I put that not on an organizational, I put that on the head coach.
Where does this all come back now in regards to a thing that we talked a lot about yesterday, Harrison Barnes? We know that Kings fans are still looking at Harrison Barnes. I read a piece today, Kings Herald. They have really interesting and informational pieces there about Harrison Barnes and how their defensive rating, they're worse with him on the floor, and it's time to move off of Harrison Barnes. What does all this have to do with Harrison Barnes? How much is he the problem?
You asking me that?
Yeah.
Zero. What are we knew coming into this season, Kings fans, Harrison Barnes was not re-signed to be a third option. Heck, last year he was the fifth option. Last year he was behind Keegan. He was behind Kevin Huerter. And so this whole notion, it's Harrison Barnes' fault. What are we expecting from our sixth option? For some reason, I think people get it twisted. They want Harrison Barnes to be the team's best defender. They want him to score 20 points. But yet, we know the pecking order on this team. Harrison Barnes has never been that guy to score 20-plus points per game. That's not his DNA. That's not his
Almost
makeup.
Almost.
Almost.
You're right.
He came close that one time.
Yeah.
But that's not his thing. And to Mike Brown's point, Mike Brown said they don't even run plays for him. Harrison Barnes, to me, is at the lower end of what's wrong with this team. Now, if you want to upgrade the talent, okay, do that then. But I could say we could upgrade the talent all over. Like, if we had a better two guard, if we had a better three, had a better bench, like there's all kinds of scenarios in which you can upgrade the talent. And it's been, I'm tired of it, Whitey. I'm going to be honest. I'm tired of it. This is my fourth season with the Kings, and every single year it's the same tired discussion about Harrison Barnes. Get off the dude's back. Leave him alone. If the coach is fine with him, if the GM is fine with him, and he helps you win basketball games, we should be fine. We got all these closet GMs sitting on their mom's couch in their basement that think they know better than Monty McNair or Mike Brown. Come on, grow up. Everybody is an expert now, man. It's frustrating
Are you
to me.
taking a shot at Freddie Fan?
Yes, yeah, Freddie Fan, all of them. His brother, his sister, his mom, everything. It's ridiculous.
If you're to look at the Kings and say, man, they could do better than Harrison Barnes, all right, you're probably right. But if you are to look at the Kings, as some people have on chat and text line, and say they need to get rid of him, as if getting rid of him somehow makes you better, that's just reflects a gross misunderstanding of how this all works. And I don't know. We had a call yesterday. I apologize. I forget his name. He made a very impassioned plea for why he thought the Kings blew it when they didn't move off of Barnes. And I know that gentleman, as I said yesterday, speaks for a lot of fans. A lot of fans feel that way. I think the Kings recognize that too. They realized they had a chance to maybe move on from Harrison Barnes. They looked around at what was available, who wanted to come here, what it would cost. They decided the best move would be to keep him for now. That's the other thing, Kyle. And I'm not saying they're necessarily going to get rid of him, but when they made the decision to bring Barnes back, that does not preclude them from making him part of a deal this year if they choose to do that.
Right. Yeah, you're 100% right about that. And we did the exercise yesterday,
Yes.
Whitey, on this show at the people who are making comparable money to Harrison Barnes. Because I'm looking at the text line. How much does HB get paid? Was it bad resigning him? Kings fans always pick one player to be the scapegoat for the losing that's been going that way for at least 15 years. When you look at Harrison Barnes and the money he makes, he signed, 3 years, 54?
What was it, Jay? You had it yesterday.
17 million.
17 million.
Yeah,
3 years.
17 million flat.
17 million flat, let's say. And we looked at the players around it, and we went through about 15 to 20 players, and we came to a consensus, maybe 3 or 4 players?
I had a few more than
About,
that.
about 7 or 8.
All right.
7 or 8.
Jay's
Come on,
out.
man.
Jay's about
Don't short side. Don't short the game.
No,
now.
I'm saying a consensus where I actually agreed with
Okay,
Whitey.
6, 7 for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so what I'm saying is we went through 20. How many players we go through, Jay? Like 20 players.
It was about, I
we
think,
went
at least.
a consensus where we both agreed
20 exactly. I'm sorry.
6
Okay.
players.
Mike didn't hit up.
So that means 13 other players at that same value Harrison Barnes is better than. So what are we doing here? What are we doing? What are we doing, Kings fans? Why are we doing this to Harrison Barnes? The dude's been a model citizen. He's been a model pro. And I said yesterday he's been clutch. And somebody's like, when has he been clutch? A game at home against Cleveland. Game on the road against Phoenix when he hit the game winner. Let's not act like Harrison Barnes hasn't hit big shots here in Sacramento over his career.
Yeah, there's just too many times in the view of many fans where he's just not
No,
there.
see, but that's my point, Whitey. Everybody's picking up the box score the next day and looking for a scapegoat.
That's true.
Because
but there's also times when you watch them play and like, is he there? Now that's true.
You're killing
and
me right now.
I'm
You're
agreeing
killing
with
me
you, but there are times when you watch him and he doesn't appear to have an impact one way or the other. That's why fans get so frustrated.
You know what? Real quick, fellas, I think part of it, and follow me on this. I think it's one of the, and I'll put it to the holidays, right? We all have children, we all have significant others, we all have families, Lord willing. It's kind of one of those things where you look at it as, should I have the money in my pocket compared to have that product? I'm not calling Harrison Barnes a product because he's a human being, but I'm making the comparison. I think, and I correct me if I'm wrong, callers, but 916-339-1140. I think part of the conversation is, and then look, we're all, as you said, they're couch GMs, Drake.
Yeah.
I think part of the situation is the value of what the perception of what Harrison Barnes gives. I understand and this is the thing, how you quantify value in our society is either money or rewards or what you're getting back from, right? Like one of the things I hate the worst, and you guys can follow me, is when I spend money and I have nothing to show for it.
Right.
Now it could be it could be memories. It could be some food and it's gone no more. You're not a full belly that day.
Or you take a trip.
Or you take a trip. Right. Yeah. So it just depends on how you value that. And I think, Drapes, what you're saying is look, I value his leadership. I value his gentlemanship off the court. I value what he brings to the community. You know, he and his wife, fantastic people here in Sacramento. They do great things. And then you have the opposite where most people are like, listen, when I do pick up that box score, 75 out of 82 games, 70 out of 82 games. Look, it's 70 out of 82 is not good. I'm not getting a lot on my return, brother.
Jay, that is terrible. That is so disrespectful. Okay, what you're saying.
But I'm just
saying,
saying,
my
I'm
man
not saying
only gives
myself.
us 10 games.
No.
He only gives us 10 games.
Yeah. What I'm saying, Drapes, is when we're talking about the Freddie the Fan thing. Jay is not saying this. I don't want to go third person. Right. What I'm saying is most of the time when you look at that and you look at $17 million. Now again, that's why I did the exercise. Yep. We did the exercise yesterday. When you look at it, $17 million looks like more on the box score, looks like more product than what I'm getting. I'm bringing more groceries home than just having a full belly that night. And I think that's why people can complain about Harrison Barnes is I don't get the pantry full. I don't get the car to drive. I don't get the actual music to listen to for the next 6 months. I got it for that day. It was a great barbecue that day. Food's gone, it's over with. All I have is memories.
You know what,
and
Jay?
I think that's why people complain about Harrison Barnes.
You said something about he's like a holiday, and I went down a different road. If players are holidays, De'Aaron Fox is like Easter. Tremendous. So Sabonis is like Christmas. And Harrison, you need all holidays. All holidays are great. But he's like, I don't know. He's quite Thanksgiving, but you know what I mean? He's not the 4th of July. He's more like Flag Day or something.
Ouch. This is disrespectful.
Okay,
I'll tell you what. I don't know if I could be a part of this conversation. The level of disrespect. We just did the exercise, guys, yesterday. We came up with 6 guys that we would say
you did a consensus.
Yes.
I would have took 12. Yeah, but that's me.
That's you.
We say consensus.
We're talking about something that's clear we can all agree on. We said 6 guys, let's say. That means there were 13 guys where we were, said that he's not, or we weren't sure if he was as good.
Drapes, we 3 of 2 million people in the Sacramento region. Man. So what I'm just saying to you is I'm coming to you from the opposite side of what we hear about Harrison Barnes, and we've heard about Harrison Barnes since he's been there. And quite frankly, no disrespect to HB, even when he got all-star and lead money, he wasn't an all-star and a lead guy. So this is what I'm saying is this has followed him from Dallas on to Sacramento. And if we even want to go further and go to state, they expected a little more.
Yeah,
so I mean,
is the key.
His whole career he's been like that, brother. So let's be realistic about that.
It's all about expectations.
Yeah, for real. That's what I'm trying to say.
Hold on, Whitey. I'm making a point right here. No, we don't. I'm making this point. Here's my final point on this subject. Here's my final point on this subject, YouTubers. Here's my final point. This is not NBA 2K. You cannot have 5 all-stars at every position, Whitey and Jay. You got to have role players. You got to have guys that fit into the system. And in the YouTube chat, they said Katie came on the show earlier today. He said he's the 5th option. He's the 6th option. We know that. Now, if you're upset about his money, why are you counting his pockets? Money should not matter to Sacramento. Give me a better option who they could have went out there and got. And don't say, oh, you could have got Kyle Kuzma. We don't know if they could have got Kyle Kuzma. That's a man.
339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. What options were there? We're back with those next. Drive Guys on Sactown Sports.
Trying to find out where to catch your favorite team's games?
Are you a fan of the Kings, Niners, and the NFL? Well, Sactown Sports has you covered.
Touchdown! San Francisco! It's all on his shoulders. Cox rocks. He fires for the win. He's got the triple. Catch all your Kings, Niners, and NFL games all year long on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Bonnie.
I'm Tamara Berg in the KCRA 3 Weather Center. Your Wednesday spotlight is on. An unsettled day ahead. Rain showers filling in for the afternoon and through the early evening drive. Highs today in the lower 60s. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA 3 News and the KCRA 3 app.
Winter's coming, so let's kick off the cold season right and get your heater all tuned up. Now just $79. No matter how cold it gets outside, you'll always be warm and toasty inside. Plumbing, sewer, electrical, heating, and air, Bonnie.com.
Get year-end pricing during Happy Honda Days at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop for great pricing on our entire selection of new CRVs, HRVs, Ridgeline Civics, and Accords. Plus, with low finance and lease options, now's the time to buy. Hurry in and save during Happy Honda Days at Folsom Lake Honda, or go to FolsomLakeHonda.com.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda
This holiday season, visit Boot Barn for top quality gifts that pay tribute to the lasting heritage of the West. From handcrafted cowboy boots and American-made felt hats to hand-stitched leather jackets, our in-store experts will help guide you as you shop, assisting with boot fitting and providing complimentary hat shaping. This holiday, share a piece of the American spirit. Boot Barn. Unwrap the West.
A holiday message from Jackson Hewitt.
Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to get money the same day.
Starting December 11th, walk into a Jackson Hewitt for an early loan on your tax refund, and you could walk out with up to $1,000.
Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to get money. Missing out would be great.
Appointments go fast. Book yours now at jacksonhewitt.com. Early refund advance offered to eligible clients. Application required. Finance charge applies. Loans by Republic Bank. Details at jacksonhewitt.com.
I'm so stressed about my business not being ready for the holidays.
Ooma.
What is that? Meditation?
I'm recommending the Ooma cloud phone system with auto attendant and more than 35 features.
Ooma?
Yep. Switching to Ooma is a cinch. Starts at $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Now you're feeling it. Visit Ooma.com. That's OOMA.com to learn more. Ooma. Smart communications for the smarter business.
Kevin Lewis of National Garage Door. Whether you need to repair a broken spring, install a new opener, or buy a quality Rainer door, National Garage Door is here for you. Call us today to see how we can transform your house with a new garage door.
638-4554 National Garage Door.
Folsom Lake Ford has trucks. The F-150s are here. Explorers, Expeditions, and a huge selection of Broncos and Bronco Sports. They're in stock now at Folsom Lake Ford. Shop Folsom Lake Ford, your truck headquarters, right here in Sacramento for your favorite Ford models at good, fair prices. Short on cash? Buy any new Ford with zero down. Save big with low interest finance rates. Plus, Folsom Lake Ford is paying top dollar for all trades. We want your vehicle regardless of mileage or condition. This could be the best time to buy a new Ford. Check out the huge inventory online at folsomlakeford.com or stop by the dealership and see the most recent arrivals. Looking for something special? Give them a call and tell them Doug Christie sent you. Folsom Lake Ford in the Folsom Auto Mall, your trusted dealer, my trusted dealer for over 30 years. FolsomLakeFord.com. 0
down with approved credit.
Increase leads and get more customers. We create tailored digital marketing strategies that deliver results. On your next campaign, aim higher. Go to aimyourdigital.com and get started today. aimyourdigital.com.
Your flagship station for the Beam Team, Sactown Sports.
Hey, guess who we're talking about? It's the Drive Guys here on Sactown Sports. Back in studio, it's Kyle Draper. You all right? You okay?
Nah, man, I had to walk around the building. Y'all got me fired up, man. It's just, this is a tired argument we're having right here. And Sacramento Kings fans, I implore you, please come up with something different. I've been here. This is my 4th season. It's been the same thing since day one. Harrison Barnes has been the whipping boy for this franchise by this fan base. And it'd be different if we had a different coach and a different GM. Are we really going to say Mike Brown's making a mistake by starting Harrison Barnes, the first unanimous coach of the year? Are we really second guessing his decision, what he sees every day in practice, what he sees during the games? And mind you, I made the point yesterday, he took 3 shots in that game.
Mm-hmm.
He took 4 shots in one other game. Most of his games, the majority of them, they played 19 games. 16 out of those 19, he's taken in between 6 and 12 shots a game. So what are we talking about? We're just reacting to one game, then all of a sudden Harrison Barnes is the problem. That's disappointing. And somebody's in the YouTube chat, Drapes, for you to say Kings fans are just looking at the box score, that's disingenuous and everything. Well, then come up with a better narrative, Kings fans. Come up with something a little more educational than, we should trade Harrison Barnes and go get AOG Anunoby. That's like saying, we should trade Harrison Barnes and let's go out there and get Kevin Durant or something.
Well, actually, somebody on the chat said they should trade. They proposed trading Barnes and you for.
Come on, man. Toronto's an international city. I love Toronto. As long as the paycheck's the same. No.
Yeah, like I said earlier, if you are to look at the Kings and go, oh, they got to get rid of that guy, then you just don't understand what's going on. But on the other hand, Kyle, if you look at the Kings and say, they could probably do better at that spot. I mean, I think that's fair.
But you can argue they could do better at almost every spot on the roster. Let's keep it real.
Okay, but if you look at the 5 starters, if you're going, it's hard not to be pejorative. I don't mean to be disrespectful, but where do you have the most room for improvement? If you look at the 5 starters, it's probably his spot. I said yesterday, in my opinion, it would be best right now coming off the bench with a good team. I'm not saying he's terrible, get rid of him. But, I mean, I understand why fans look at that and go, wow, it'd be good if the Kings could get more consistent production.
Is that our only weakness in that starting 5? Let me ask. Is that
the only weakness? No.
Okay. All right. You can upgrade at pretty much every position. It's outside of point guard, maybe.
Mm-hmm. I understand. But Scooter 916 says if we're trying to be a championship caliber team, why can't we make a change to see if our starting rotation can be better? Not talking trade, but just an internal change. Sasha, Lyles, etc. for HB. Now that's a fair question. Do you want me to answer that, or do you want to?
No, that is so. Now, if you want to talk about starting Trey Lyles, we can have that discussion. We can have that, but don't tell me we should be starting Sasha. What has Sasha shown you that thinks he should be getting minutes and starting over Harrison Barnes?
He has.
Right. That's it. Now, if a guy
ideally he could get to that point, but he's not there.
It's sort of like Davion and Keon Ellis. You know, if I said, what did Keon Ellis? Well, Keon Ellis has gotten in and he's shown some good things, and Davion has not lived up to it. You know, and so he took his spot. Mike Brown sees these guys day in and day out.
Yes.
Mike Brown knows exactly what his team needs. And Kings fans, and this is upsetting me right now. This time last year, we had a worse record than we do right now. We're having this discussion, and nobody said anything when they beat Denver.
It's because, I focused on the word Jay said right before we broke, expectations. It's all about expectations with him and with this team this year. And by the way, here's another thing, Scooter, why I would not want to bench Harrison Barnes. And this is me talking. It's not Kyle. It's not the team. If I have someone on my roster and I'm thinking I could improve, I could benefit by moving that person at some point here, the last thing I want to do is devalue that person by putting him on the bench, not starting him. I don't know if that's part of the equation,
right,
but if I was thinking I might have a chance to trade this guy, maybe I'm not going to take him out of the start. I'm not going to bench him. That doesn't do anybody any favor.
Right. It doesn't. But if I remember correctly, earlier in this season, there was a segment of the fan base. We got calls coming up here in just a minute. Segment of the fan base who said we should bench Kevin Huerter. They're crickets right now. I haven't heard that.
But I understand why they said that.
But do you remember there's a segment of the fan base that said, Colby Jones, he got to get some minutes. He got to play. We can't just look at small sample size.
No.
Some days Harrison Barnes going to play great. Utah, and I could look at the 6 straight games where he scored in double figures, had 18, 20, and 22, I think it was, in 3 straight games. And then there's some days, and that's the way this offense works. That's the way this team works. Some days it's going to be your day. As the 6th option, at best the 5th option when he's on the floor, what do we want, Harrison?
I also remember I suggested Keon Ellis should get some minutes, and you threw a baseball bat at me.
I did. And then I was wrong about that. But I was sure enough right about the Colby Jones situation. Nobody said, there's receipts all over.
Yeah.
And so here's the thing with Harrison Barnes. I'm just tired of every single year we're going through this again. Kings fans, when are we just going to accept, you know what? Harrison is who he is, and you want him to be something that he is not.
It's so Garoppolo-like. Jimmy G, and we'll get to the phones. Jimmy G, 49er fans for years said, if he just connected that long pass to Emmanuel Sanders. And with Harrison Barnes, if he just made that 3 against the Warriors. 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Chris joins us on Sactown Sports. Hello, Chris.
Hey, guys. How you doing?
Good. What's up?
Good. Hey, Kyle. So I called you last week. I rattled off some stats in regards to the Eagles and Niners. I'm not going to touch that subject because I know we're a little late in the week. But I just wanted to say it rang true. But no, man, it was a good game. But no, so Harrison, right? So my whole thing with him, I'm not looking for him to be something that he's not, but I'm also looking for something more at that spot. So, I understand he's not going to get many touches, right? He's not going to get a lot of looks. He's not going to get shots. But the thing is, deflections, defense, right? Like I don't see, as we said, right? I think a lot of times he is almost invisible,
Let me ask you this. Sorry to cut you off. You're
good.
Because I want to follow up on that point you just made. Who did Harrison Barnes guard on Monday against the Pelicans?
Was he on Zion?
How did Zion do that game?
He did well. I watched a lot of the tape, and I thought it was a lot of a team effort. I mean, I didn't see a lot of just one-on-one. And trust me, I love Harrison. I'm not bagging on him. I think, like you said, he is who he is. And had we had a chance to go get Kuzma, if we did, I wouldn't have wanted that. Because here's the thing, right? If you get into you see what's going on in Washington right now. If that attitude was brought over to our team, not only one, would we say we made a mistake, number two, he would bring the chemistry down, in my opinion, and then we'd be looking to trade him anyway, and nobody's going to want that contract, right? So in a perfect world, right, I would want to get to a point where we could package, and I think that there might be something coming. If Keon continues to get minutes, then where does Davion sit on this team? I think he's the type of player that can be a productive piece on a bench, and maybe somebody will want that. Yeah, if we want to bring something back like OG, we're going to have to give up something. I think the way it stands, and this isn't a knock on Barnes, but I think he doesn't bring enough of what we need. And like you always say, Kyle, we're waiting for Keegan to drop the other foot and become what we want him to. But you also have to understand he's been hurt and he's in his second year. So maybe that's too much pressure. Like I said, perfect world, go get OG. But I personally want Siakam. That's who I want. I want a big who can stretch the floor a little bit.
Even though Chris, you're making great points. I really appreciate him. I'm not calling you out here. Just to clarify, would you even get Siakam even if you knew that he might not re-sign with you? Would you still go get him for the rest of this year?
That's where I'm battling too, right? I mean, I think those are the two players that I have had my radar on. I know a lot of people think the same way, but that's a huge point, right? There would have to be some type of conversation had, and I don't know how it would work, and maybe there could be a sign and trade, right? I don't know, but that is risky. So do you wait these next 3 years out with Barnes, add this year and then see what we got, or do we try to take a chance? I don't want a rental, right?
Gotcha, Chris.
All right, Chris,
gotta let you go because I'm getting flagged down here
because I got to make a point. Pascal Siakam. Of course. Every team in the NBA wants Pascal Siakam. He's an all-star. Guess how Pascal Siakam's making $37 million. So you can't compare Harrison Barnes to Pascal Siakam, first of all, because
well, yeah, you can. You could say if we could have one or the other, yeah.
Of course, I would. Everybody would love the 37. Oh man, I would love to have Jokic. I would love to have LeBron. Come on now, we got to talk realistic.
But we are. Siakam may be available, and Barnes would be one of the pieces you'd probably.
But nobody's disputing that.
You just did. Didn't you?
I didn't. You can't compare those two. Of course, that's a no-brainer. That's dumb logic. Listen, you know what? I'm going to give up my 6th scorer and my 8th scorer for Kevin Durant. No blank. Of course you are.
Well, no, you might not because Siakam, you might not have him around. That's
right,
the whole
but that's
issue.
not the discussion. The discussion is Harrison Barnes is the reason we're not good. That's the narrative that's being painted out there. No, but I'm talking about that's the narrative. How come we aren't talking about Kevin Huerter and De'Aaron Fox going 3 for 14 from 3-point range? How come we're not talking about Keegan Murray averaging, less than a point more than he did last season? Come on, man. We're arguing about Harrison Barnes. There are other issues with this team and other guys who need to play better.
I think you're missing the point, though.
What is the point, White?
Well, I have that for you when we come right back. Get your calls, too. 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140 to Drive Guys on Sactown Sports.
Can Mike Brown build on last season's Coach of the Year award? Can the Kings exceed 48 wins?
We will be better prepared to make the run that we expect to run come next playoff.
Tune into every Kings game this season on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
Sactown Sports is home to the Kings, Niners, and now the business of sports. Hosted by Kelly Brothers and brought to you by Cap Trust, offering customized, independent financial advice at captrust.com. Join Kelly Brothers, Carmichael, Dave, and Jason as they look at the business of sports every Thursday at 7:40 a.m. You want to know how sports really work? Follow the money with Kelly Brothers from Cap Trust on Sactown Sports.
Discover your dream home at Subcontractors United, your source for all home improvement needs. A talented team of home services experts is ready to make your projects a breeze. No more endless internet searches. Find your contractors in one place. Enjoy stress-free service absolutely free, with no hidden costs and no account to set up. Transform your living space into something extraordinary. Visit Subcontractors United today and experience the joy of hassle-free home improvement. Dream big at subcontractorsunited.com.
49ers Report, brought to you by EB Stone. EB Stone, for the life of your garden. The 49ers walked into Philadelphia and took care of business last Sunday, stopping the Dirty Birds 42-19. Quarterback Brock Purdy had 314 yards passing, while Deebo Samuel contributed 138 total yards and 3 touchdowns. The Red and Gold are now one game out of the top spot in the NFC and will look to keep their winning streak going when they face Seattle at home in Week 14.
Celebrating over a century as a family-owned business, EB Stone has gathered in valuable insights into nurturing plant growth. Venture into indoor planting with EB Stone's Edna's Best indoor and outdoor potting soil. Watch your little plants flourish into ideal indoor companions for the whole family to relish during the holidays. EB Stone's indoor and outdoor potting soil is a meticulously crafted blend of essential ingredients. Your plants will thrive, both indoors and outdoors. Trust EB Stone for the entire lifespan of your garden. Explore more gardening tips, products, and find nearby locations at ebstone.org. Wishing you a season filled with joy and flourishing green.
Winter is coming. I know you know that, but are you prepared to keep your family warm all season long? At American Energy Heating and Air, their goal is to exceed your expectations of the heating and air industry by valuing the customer experience and making your home comfort system as efficient as possible for the most value. So book your $49 furnace tune-up and safety inspection today. Prevent dangerous gas leaks. Extend the life of that furnace and save on your energy bills. And here's the guarantee. This isn't a sales call. They're not getting in the door so they can try to sell you a bunch of stuff. No, they're just going to do what they say they're going to do. Call today to schedule an appointment at 916-520-9990 or go to AmericanEnergyAir.com. Been serving the greater Sacramento area since 1981. A-plus Better Business Bureau rating. Get your $49 furnace tune-up and safety inspection today. 916-520-9990. American Energy, making the uncomfortable comfortable.
Christmas is in the air at Hanley's Kia. The season of giving back is bringing you an unbeatable deal on all 2024 Kia models. Drive home in style without breaking the bank. Introducing Hanley's Kia incredible leasing option for just $199 a month. Picture yourself behind the wheel of a brand new 2024 Kia, loaded with the latest features and cutting-edge technology. Whether it's the sleek Niro Hybrid with 54 mpg, an EV6 with up to 310 miles, the versatile Sportage, or the family-friendly Telluride. At Hanley's Kia, you can also reserve your luxurious full-size EV9 with 3 rows that has the comfort of a stylish interior and the peace of mind that comes with driving a brand you can trust. Head over to Hanley's Kia, the season of giving back today, located in Davis.
New 2024 Kia Niro Hybrid EX for $199 per month for 36 months after $7,999 customer cash due at signing plus $300 military customer rebate. 10,000 miles per year and 20 cents per mile after 30,000 miles based on sale price $30,545 and payment excludes taxes and DMV fees and any dealer fees. Vehicle ID number R5136138.
Your home for Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
Sactown Sports.
How do the Kings get better? That's what we're talking about here. The conversation has turned to Harrison Barnes. How much is he to blame for where the Kings are? How much can he help them get better? How much does he need to be better? But ultimately what we're talking about is how the Kings get better. Whitey Gleason, Kyle Draper, thanks for your calls. We'll get back to the phones just a moment here. 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. To me, Kyle, one of the things that some fans are pointing out here, and I think it's reasonable, is that if Harrison Barnes, moving him could help you get better, then obviously that's something you take a long, hard look at, and that's
and
really
I think you do that
indisputable.
With every position, though, right? If something can make you better, you do it. That's just the nature of the business. That's the nature of sports. Yes.
But you don't look at and you made the point yourself, you don't move. You're not, hey, you trade Sabonis. You don't want to trade Sabonis. But I also think they ask Harrison Barnes to do a lot of things that are not easy to do. You're not going to get a lot of shots. You're going to guard guys maybe a little bigger than you. He has to do a lot of the dirty work on this team.
Harrison Barnes?
Yeah. I don't think fans appreciate that as much as they could.
He does the things that doesn't necessarily show up in the box score. And that's why I brought up that point with the last caller. He talked about Harrison Barnes defensively not getting deflections, steals, whatever. But yet he guarded Zion. And I know it was a team effort, obviously. It was a great team defense. But Harrison Barnes is a big part of that. I want to raise a point here because we talk about HB as what? The fifth, maybe the sixth option.
Offensively.
I'm looking at, we consider the Milwaukee Bucks a contender, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Their sixth option, Chris Middleton this year, Bobby Portis, 11.4 points per game. Middleton, 11.9. Malik Beasley, 12.1. The Denver Nuggets, champions. Their sixth option, KCP, 11.2 points per game. And so what I'm saying is for your sixth option on the team, Harrison Barnes is giving you the production that you could pretty much expect. That's
Fair
my
enough.
point right there.
It's true that, and it's early, it's only basically a month in, his production has been down this year.
From where it was last year. Yeah. He slid, of course. I mean, he's getting older. He's 31, about to be 32. That's expected,
And there's time for, that could come back up. I'm not saying he's finished, but that's another thing people look at. It's like, well, he's declining here. Why do they bring him back? But still, I think, to me, the bottom line there was, I know some people say there were other players available who were better. I don't know that there were. And I think if there were, I think the Kings would have made that move.
Yeah, exactly. And everybody's talking about Siakam and OG. And I agree. They're upgrades. I give you that.
Yeah.
But you don't think Monty McNair would pick up the phone and had discussions? What if the asking price is too high?
I think they have.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So this is an NBA 2K where you could just swing a deal and make it happen. It takes two parties. It takes two sides.
But I think fans know that.
No. But then why are we still talking about Pascal and OG and stuff like that?
Well, I think they're going to be in play here. We got to wait to December 15th before we can do anything.
No,
right?
I mean, well, with HB because he re-signed.
Right.
But we could have did something this offseason with these guys too. And
they looked at it. Right? I mean,
yeah. They looked at it, and so it's just a tired, narrative to me. I look at, let's say, and I raise this point again. Let's look at a team like the Phoenix Suns. People consider them contenders. Their sixth option on the team, Nurkic, 11.7 points. Grayson Allen started 19 games, 12.3 points.
Sure.
What do you want from your fifth starter?
I don't think you can blame a fan for looking at this team and going, if you're going to get better, that's an area where maybe you could upgrade. I think that's very reasonable. And I think that doesn't mean that it's somebody who doesn't know basketball or somebody that's playing too much NBA 2K. There's a couple other positions you'd look at too, but I think it's fair.
So why are we only talking about Harrison Barnes?
Because I think that's where most people, your eyes would be drawn, and it's kind of an obvious starting point for that discussion.
But I just gave you 3 championship teams whose sixth option is doing the same thing as Harrison Barnes.
But this is
so maybe we don't need to upgrade the Harrison Barnes position. Maybe we need our stars to be better.
Maybe
we need a better third option. Maybe we need a better fourth option.
That would help
to
too.
go all the way down to number 6 and say, that's the reason why we're not a championship? Come on.
Well, it's two different things. To say you could upgrade there is not the same as saying, he's the reason.
But that's what nobody's, like I said, you can upgrade at every position, in my opinion, on this team if we're really talking about it. if you're talking, you want to win a championship, you can say, all right, De'Aaron Fox, as great as he is there a better point guard? If we got Steph Curry, you could do that with every position. My thing is,
but the Kings need wings.
All right, so let's upgrade over Keegan Murray.
Well, you just got
him. See,
you have.
But Keegan is supposed to be your third.
Ceiling.
So Harrison Barnes came into this season as your sixth option. He's performing as your sixth option. Keegan came into this season as your what? Third option?
Okay, I know you're not saying this, but it sounds like you're saying get rid of Keegan.
No, of course I'm not saying that. Of
Okay.
course I'm not saying that. I'm saying the guys on the team have to be better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it's not just Harrison Barnes. Keegan has to be better. De'Aaron has to be better. Domas has to be. Everybody has to be better. If we're talking about a championship.
339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Casey, thanks for hanging on. You're on The Drive, guys. What's up?
Oh, man. Just getting frustrated listening to the Drapes contradict himself back and forth. First, excuse me, one breath he tells us, don't worry, why you in Harrison's pockets that we're complaining he's making $17 million, then you're comparing him to Pascal Siakam's $37 million. There is a difference when you're the third highest paid player on the team. We shouldn't have signed Harrison Barnes as the sixth option on our team and paid him third highest paid money. Drapes, are you going to tell me that to stay out of pocket, you act like you don't ever talk about people's money, or that if you were, say, let's take your Eagles. If the Eagles in the offseason signed Kenneth Gainwell as their backup and they paid him $12 million a year, you don't think you're going to get upset about that, Drapes? You think we're supposed to sit here as fans and just let this guy make $17 million as a third highest paid player? You're comparing sixth options on other teams that are making $8-10 million a year to Harrison Barnes. You can't compare six options with six options if one guy's making almost 20 and the other guy's making 8 or 10. And not to mention that, Drapes, you're calling out the rest of our team because you want to defend Harrison Barnes so bad that now you're talking about, we could be better at every position. Why don't you go up to Fox in the locker room and next time you see him and tell him, hey, Fox, I was on the radio today.
When's the last time you talked to De'Aaron Fox? I talk to De'Aaron Fox every game I'm at the arena. I'm not one of these radio guys that are talking and then scared to go to the arena. Come on now. If we're talking about being a championship contender, De'Aaron will tell you himself he has to play at a high level. Domas will say he has to play. And that's the only thing I'm talking. And where were you yesterday when we did the exact same exercise where we looked at Harrison's money at $17 million and we compared the guys around him making the same amount and we went through, would you rather have this guy or would you not? And us three here, including Jay, said, you know what? There's 6, maybe 7 guys that, you know what? Maybe we would take more than Harrison. I'm just tired of this. Is a lazy, tired Sacramento Kings discussion that we're having right now.
Respond? Can I respond?
Go ahead. You done did a lot of talking, man. Come on, go ahead.
Okay. So I've been a Kings fan my whole life. I'm not sure where you are. You said you've been working for the team for 4 years, and I know you're a Philly fan. So were you even a Kings fan before that?
Yeah.
So for you to come at us talking like,
man, you know what?
Come on,
Jay, cut this dude, man. Get him out of here.
We'll take a timeout. When we come back, why De'Aaron Fox turned down an extension before the season and what it means for him and the Kings going forward, which is what we're doing next year on Drive Guys, Sactown Sports.
Check out the Golf to Go Hour with Frank LaRosa every week on Sactown Sports. Get the latest on equipment, area courses, people who play the great game, and plenty of good conversations about golf. It's the Golf to Go Hour every week with Frank LaRosa on Sactown Sports. Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, America's most awarded golf facility. Nature Wood Home Furnishings, where it's all about choices and always about quality.
Hey, sports fans, if you're not calling John Anthony, you're simply missing out. To prove it, I release your Monday Night Report absolutely free on recorded message line. Call 1-800-244-5506. Tonight, I love this matchup. Cincinnati-Jacksonville is a monster. Side and total, Cincinnati aims to maintain its impressive spread covering record of 56%, while Jacksonville, led by Trevor Lawrence at 4-1 against the spread record in night games, looks to make it a tight contest. Cincinnati-Jacksonville and hoops. 5 big plays. John Anthony has you covered. I love to go 5-0 free on recorded message. 1-800-244-5506. Information wins. John Anthony Sports, #1 against the spread. Call 1-800-244-5506. You want information? I've got it. Cincinnati, Jacksonville, and hoops. I love to go 5-0 with the season free. It's 1-800-244-5506 or go to johnanthonysports.com.
Sponsored by JFSR Group.
Hold on to your Santa hats because Elk Grove Kia is turning up the holiday heat with deals that'll leave you saying no, no, no money down. This Christmas, keep your wallet at home because Elk Grove Kia is making your dreams come true with 0 down payment. That's right, absolutely nothing out of your pocket to drive home in a brand new Kia today. Or if you're ready to slay the season in style, picture this: the award-winning 2024 Kia Telluride S all-wheel drive, the hottest sled in town, for just $439 per month plus tax. You heard it right, only $439. So whether it's the sleek 2024 Kia Telluride or the no money down offer, Elk Grove Kia says 0 hassles and 0 worries. ElkGroveKia.com. Qualified applicant 0 down example spec number GK913348 monthly 0 down model number C3422 Telluride 24 monthly 439 plus tax for $495 US 90 security plus residual 33,352 and here GK9143 expires 12.
Elk Grove Kia. The holidays are the happiest time of the year. That is, unless you or your loved ones are miserable because of colds, sinus infections, or allergies. This holiday season, give the gift of better breathing with Navage. What makes Navage so effective? Well, unlike cold and allergy drugs that might take a long time to help, if they're effective at all, Navage provides fast relief from sinus congestion in 30 seconds flat. Navage doesn't just relieve symptoms, it attacks the cause by sucking out the germs, allergens, and viruses trapped in your nose that are making you feel miserable. Best of all, Navage does it naturally, without drugs. Wash away your cold and congestion problems this holiday season. Add Navage to your gift list so you can breathe easier, sleep better, and feel healthier all year long. Ask for Navage at Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Target, or find us online at Navage.com. Navage, Navage. Clean nose, healthy life.
Yep, 'tis the season. Hi, if you're like me, you take pride in your gift giving. Well, I've got a terrific idea for you. Gift cards from the Good Feet store. Okay, so arch supports aren't exactly what they've been hinting for, but you know they'd love them. And with the Good Feet lifetime warranty, it's a gift they'll enjoy forever. Buy a Good Feet gift card now, and Good Feet will boost its value 20%. That's a 20% gift free from the Good Feet store. If you have someone on your list who's on their feet all day, has sore feet, knee, hip, or back pain, or even plantar fasciitis, maybe needs an energy boost, or just wants to maintain their active lifestyle, a Good Feet Arch Support gift card could be the perfect gift.
The Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, Stockton, Modesto, and Vacaville. Online at goodfeet.com.
Hello, saver. Whether you're saving for that trip to the tropics or saving for an emergency, now is the time to take advantage of Wells Fargo's savings options. Wells Fargo offers savings accounts that can help you save towards your goals. So, what are you saving for? Visit a Wells Fargo branch or wellsfargo.com/save to open a savings account today.
Wells Fargo Bank, N.A., member FDIC.
Players know it's not just because you win more, it's because of everything else at Gold Country Casino Resort, where players roll in and winners are made. Winning isn't the only thing on the menu, and nightlife, it's more than entertaining. Drinks and dining options are abundant and guaranteed to satisfy your innermost desires. Come be our guests and see why Gold Country Casino Resort in Oroville is where the players play.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, your flagship station for the Beam Team.
Should we light the beam? Light the beam, baby.
Sactown Sports.
The Drive Guys, live and local, every afternoon, Monday through Friday on Sactown Sports.
We got a really interesting tidbit on De'Aaron Fox and his contract today. It's really nothing's wrong. Nothing for Kings fans to be alarmed about, but it's really interesting. We'll take a look at that in just a moment. Before we do, Kyle, do we want to? I have one more thing to kind of wrap up.
Yeah, what you got?
Barnes. Do you have one?
I could do this all day, man.
I would just say a lot of people, I know in the summer when people were looking at, okay, maybe they should bring in somebody else to play forward, and a lot of people were in on Kyle Kuzma. And Kyle Kuzma scores a lot of points. I was never, ever in on him. Maybe I was wrong, but I'm fine they didn't get him. I'll just say this: Kyle Kuzma is taking 19 shots a game, which bless him.
Okay.
Do you think if the Kings brought Kyle Kuzma in here and he had a game like Harrison Barnes did a couple nights ago where he took 3 shots, you think Kyle Kuzma would be all right? I'm cool with that. No.
Heck no.
No.
Heck no.
Harrison Barnes does a lot of the dirty work that we as fans don't always see.
Yeah.
And he does it uncomplainingly. And can they upgrade there? Maybe they can. Maybe they will at the deadline. Maybe. But he's not like an anchor that's weighing this team down. That's a misconception. Like I said, to me, he's kind of like the Jimmy Garoppolo of the Kings. People are always going to blame him when things are going
wrong. And here's my last point on this. Harrison Barnes does a lot for this team. He may not be the best scorer, but he's one of the best defenders on this team. He's kind of playing out of position too, because he's 6'8".
That's a great point.
He's playing the power forward spot. And so my thing with Harrison,
when's the last time he complained about that?
And when is the last time he complained about that? Exactly. My thing is, yes, they can upgrade over Harrison Barnes. Of course, we all know that. But don't bring that narrative after a loss, but then also not praise him when he drops 33 at Utah, when he drops 22, when he drops 18, when he drops 16. It just seems like we lose. Oh, who can I blame? Harrison Barnes. Come on. That's the thing that's upsetting to me. Of course they can upgrade at the position. We all know that. We also know that Monty McNair has a plan, and it's probably the slow grind because they didn't go out there and make no big free agent splash or anything like that. And so I just don't get the year in and year out venom towards Harrison Barnes. And people say, well, they signed him to that contract, Drapes. He should be producing more. Well, we went through the list yesterday of players who, are producing pretty much right around the same as Harrison. Some guys are producing much more than Harrison. Some guys are producing lower than Harrison. It's just tiring, man. And the reason why I am, going so hard for HB is because he didn't ask for any of this. He has been a model citizen. We talk about guys wanting to be here in Sacramento. You talk about Fox. How come we can't say Harrison Barnes the same way? This is a guy with a championship ring that's played on the finals contender. And we haven't heard one peep out of it. And let me tell you one last thing about Harrison Barnes. When the Sacramento Kings were losing and they were struggling, he would be the first guy meeting with the media, addressing the issues, answering the questions. He would be the face of the franchise. And for some fans now to be turncoats and turn their back on HB, it's upsetting to me. And that's why I get so fired up about this.
Harrison Barnes, it's unfair, but he's always been a guy going back to when he came out of college. He's always been a guy that fans have expected a little more from than what he may be. And that's kind of always going to be his situation. But right now, I think he's in a situation where he cannot win. If he has a poor game or a game where he doesn't put up numbers, people will point to that and go, see, he's no good. When he has a big game like he did in an opener against Utah, those same fans go, well, where is that every night? So,
right.
Yeah,
it has to do with the way when it comes to that.
Yeah, expectations and the way people see him. And sometimes it's easy for us to just, well, that guy's the problem. And it's just not the case. He's not the problem with the Kings, primarily because he is one of their better defenders, and that's still their biggest problem.
Right. And he was not the reason that they lost to the Pelicans. There's several reasons. Herb Jones going for 23, that's a problem. Somebody has to do something about that defense.
Pelicans have a better team than the Kings. That's why the Kings lost. That's the problem. Pelicans have a better team.
Are they a better team?
I think so. They certainly were. Yeah. They have more talent.
That's tough.
They're
That's tough
longer,
for me to
they're
swallow.
bigger.
I hear you. I understand it. You look at the roster. I get it.
Right
That's
now,
hard for me to swallow. That's hard because then if the Pelicans are a better team, then maybe we need to rethink our expectations for this Kings team. If we want to have that conversation, I'm not buying that just yet, but, I hear what you're saying.
De'Aaron Fox heard what the Kings had to say during the offseason. And again, there's nothing untoward here. There's no animosity, but De'Aaron Fox, according to Chris Haynes, he was offered a 2-year, $105 million deal before the start of the season. The 2-year offer is the maximum the Kings are currently allowed to offer. De'Aaron Fox decided to turn down the extension in hopes of making an all-NBA team again this season, which would make him eligible to sign a 4-year supermax worth approximately $245 million. Both sides, again, there are no issues here. Both sides are interested in a long-term deal, but this is really interesting. Kings come to De'Aaron, and he's betting on himself to win another all-NBA honor, and then he would be entitled to significantly more money.
And rightfully so. De'Aaron Fox is just now entering the prime of his career. And so he's making a business decision. We fully expect De'Aaron Fox once again to be an all-star, once again to be an all-NBA player. This Kings team once again to make it to the NBA playoffs. And so it's a smart business move, I think, for De'Aaron Fox.
Here's some other players eligible for a supermax or could be eligible for the supermax. You got Shea, you got Siakam, Jaren Jackson, Jamal Murray, Luka, Tatum, Giannis. And then here's an interesting thing about De'Aaron Fox. If he makes all league again, he could sign a 4-year, $245 million deal. Okay. But just, this is fascinating. If he makes it 2 years in a row, he could sign a 5-year supermax in the summer of 2025.
Woo.
Yeah.
And that 5-year supermax is what, $300 million or something like that? Something.
Yeah, the 4-year would be 245.
Right. Yeah. I think that it's what Jaylen Brown signed for this past offseason. Jason Tatum signed for as well. It makes a perfect business sense. And what we're seeing from De'Aaron Fox is we know how great he is on the court. He's making some shrewd moves off, the Curry brand deal, going with Clutch Sports. And now, you know what? Turning down 2 years, $105 million, because he sees if he stays healthy, he's going to get that supermax.
Yeah. So interesting situation again. Bottom line for Kings fans is that both sides are keenly interested in a long-term deal. So how about that? De'Aaron Fox, if he can make all league again this year, cha-ching. Well, even if he doesn't, right? Even if he doesn't, he's in line for a massive contract.
Yeah, and well-deserved, and rightfully so. I mean, he has helped lead this team. He's been the leader of this team, getting it back into the playoffs, and he's our own. He's our homegrown guy, too, and fans love him, and he's been tremendous.
All right, Chris Haynes, I mentioned he had the report. He's going to join us. Take a real quick break. We're back with Chris Haynes. Eddie Johnson, former King, voice of the Suns, he's going to be with us, too, this hour as we roll on here to Drive Guys. Got a big hour ahead. Stay with us, Sactown Sports.
Malik Monk plays here.
Started left, goes right, steps back, launches the three. Nothing but net. Oh, that was just filthy. Oh, my, that was sweet.
Sactown Sports is your proud home of the Sacramento Kings.
Folsom Lake Ford has trucks. The F-150s are here. Explorers, Expeditions, and a huge selection of Broncos and Bronco Sports. They're in stock now at Folsom Lake Ford. Shop Folsom Lake Ford, your truck headquarters, right here in Sacramento for your favorite Ford models at good, fair prices. Short on cash? Buy any new Ford with zero down. Save big with low interest finance rates. Plus, Folsom Lake Ford is paying top dollar for all trades. We want your vehicle regardless of mileage or condition. This could be the best time to buy a new Ford. Check out the huge inventory online at FolsomLakeFord.com or stop by the dealership and see the most recent arrivals. Looking for something special? Give them a call and tell them Doug Christie sent you. Folsom Lake Ford in the Folsom Auto Mall, your trusted dealer, my trusted dealer for over 30 years. FolsomLakeFord.com.
Zero down with approved credit.
Your flagship station for the Beam Team, Sactown Sports.
To Drive Guys, Chris Haynes from Bleach Report TNT going to join us just a moment here. Eddie Johnson as well, former Sacramento King, one of the original Sacramento Kings, broadcaster for the Phoenix Suns. Of course, the Kings are getting ready to take on the Suns on Friday. And I don't know, being an NBA employee, how much he'll want to share with us about how he feels about last night, but I'm guessing Eddie wasn't thrilled with that call last night that went against the Suns.
And rightfully so. I mean, that was, not only that, just some of the officiating down there. And they did come out with the 2-minute report, too. They did come out with the 2-minute report. And let me scroll down there. Stoppage timeout. LeBron James. Correct call. LA is granted a timeout when Reeves recovers the ball and pins it against his leg before he loses it again. So the day after, they say it was the correct call.
They said he called for timeout after Reeves regained control and pinned it to his leg?
Yeah, recovers the ball and pins it against his leg, yes.
All right. That's not exactly the way I saw it. I don't know that. Oh, you.
Not at all. Not at all, man.
That's a bold 2-minute report right there.
But, they had to break it down frame by frame, obviously. And I thought we saw that last night on the replay. But what surprised me is even after the game, the pool report where they interviewed the official, he said the same exact thing that we see now in the 2-minute report.
Mm-hmm. So Chris Haynes going to join us in just a moment here. And wasn't he also part of the TNT crew that broadcast the tournament game against the Pelicans on Monday?
Yes, he was in the building. So I want to get his take on, what he saw that night. And, are the Pelicans right now a better team than the Kings? We can have that discussion with Chris Haynes. And I don't
mean to rock your boat a little bit when I suggested that.
It just threw me for a loop there, because now if we're saying the Pelicans are better than the Kings, now we're going to have to revamp where we think they are. I don't believe that. I believe when they're both playing at their best, it's just a tough matchup. They beat us 3 times. I get that. But I think the Kings, when it's all said and done, will have a better record.
Nice stuff. To join us from TNT, from Bleach Report, Chris Haynes. Chris, thanks so much for your time. We've got a little debate going here after what happened Monday in Sacramento. I know you were there. I mean, are the Pelicans right now, are they a better team than the Sacramento Kings?
Ooh, well, tough question. I wouldn't go as far as say they're a better team right now, but definitely when you look at their roster from top to bottom, and they're starting to get healthy. They're probably one of the more deeper teams we have in this league. But I can't give them that title right now. Do they have a potential to be? Yes, most definitely. But the thing with them has been health. For the last 3 or 4 years, and it starts with Zion Williamson, and they got Trey Murphy back. They got CJ McCollum back. Zion is in there. So, we'll see where they go from here. But as of right now, I would still lean towards Sacramento.
Chris Haynes joining us, was on the broadcast the other night, TNT. Chris, here we are 19 games into the season for Sacramento. They have a better record this year, but the angst around the franchise and around the fan base seems to be much different. It seems, the expectations obviously have been raised. Where do you think the Kings fit in the Western Conference right now?
Yeah, I think you hit it right there. It's definitely because of expectations based off what they did last year, and we're thinking that they could potentially take that next step this season. But in the scheme of things, like they're a dangerous team. I know for a fact that they're one of the teams in the Western Conference that, if they make the postseason, you don't want to face them. They're young. They're not afraid of anybody. They can play fast. They can go, into the half court game and have Sabonis pick you apart. So there's a multitude of weapons that they can go by and try to beat you in different ways. And so, but there is that thing that's, expectation that is real, that is serious. And so when you're not sneaking up on anybody anymore, things tend to change. And, their record, what are they, 6 in the standings right now?
Yeah, I believe they are. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's solid. This is the
5th, actually. Yeah, 5th, actually.
Okay.
Yep.
5th. It's the Western Conference. They're 5th. And so that's nothing to sneeze about. But definitely, I think you have to relish taking baby steps. Are they a championship contending team right now? that would be tough for me to give them that title right now. But I think, when you're looking at progression, I think they're doing that, and I think they're doing it well. You're looking at De'Aaron Fox taking a step forward, not just on the court, but leadership. I was talking with people they're talking about he's leading huddles, and I've heard, being a sideline reporter this season, I've heard him be a little bit more vocal in timeout huddles and directing guys and encouraging guys. And so, you're seeing that Malik Monk is playing tremendous off the bench, and look, it's about progression. You don't want to be stagnant, and I wouldn't call the Kings stagnant by any stretch.
Chris Haynes with us from Bleach Report and TNT. Speaking of De'Aaron Fox, Chris, you, of course, reporting that the Kings offered De'Aaron Fox 2 years, $105 million extension before the start of the season, and he declined the offer. What does that mean for De'Aaron Fox and for the Kings going forward?
Yeah, they want to work something out where there's going to be a long-term pact. De'Aaron Fox wants to be here in Sacramento, and the Kings want their cornerstone player in return. But financially, from a financial standpoint, it made sense for De'Aaron to decline. If he could make All NBA team along with Defensive Player of the Year or even MVP, he would be in line for the Supermax deal next summer. And if that were to happen, the earliest he could sign that deal would be July 8th of 2024. And as of right now, that would look somewhere around 4 years, $255 million, somewhere along those lines. And so the Kings understood, like they knew, they knew what De'Aaron and his camp would do. But that's just a deal you got to make to De'Aaron. It's similar, pretty similar to Giannis. Giannis at first, he was telling everybody that he was going to wait until next summer to sign a long-term deal. Then he ended up taking, I can't remember, but people kind of were stunned that he took I think it was a 2 or 3 year extension he signed last month, right before the season started. And so, you as a team, that's what you do. You do your due diligence. But, De'Aaron, along with his agent, Rich Paul, CEO of Clutch Sports, they're all in the same wavelength with the Sacramento Kings. So there's no drama to unfold. But I knew that was something that was never reported about that extension being offered.
Good stuff right there from Chris Haynes. Chris, still a couple of months away from the trade deadline, and Kings fans, obviously, they're looking at ways they can improve the roster, upgrade some of the names. We're hearing OG Anunoby, Pascal Siakam, even a Zach LaVine out there, maybe a Caruso. What are you hearing on the trade front around the league about some of those names I just mentioned?
Yeah, I mean, those names have been linked to Sacramento for a while. OG Anunoby, Zach LaVine for sure has started up this season. I know he wouldn't mind if he was shipped on the West Coast. So those are definitely things to be in play. But I haven't heard anything concrete as far as anything being serious at this nature. As far as right now, I think as we progress along next couple of months, Chicago is really going to start pressing. Chicago feels like they're in the driver's seat right now. They don't have to do anything urgent right now. They kind of know that they aren't going anywhere, and so with that in mind, they feel like they can, hold on and continue forward with that trade deadline, being a few months away. So I think things will definitely heat up. But yeah, I mean, when you look at Sacramento as far as how can they take that next step, you're probably looking at a wing player, and so those guys definitely fit that caliber.
Chris Haynes, what do you think of how the tournament's gone? How has it gone compared to what you expected?
I'm somebody, you can ask my wife. I'm somebody that's not, I don't embrace change. I like to keep my routines. And so, when this idea was brought forth publicly, I wasn't for it. But I will say this, I text Adam Silver. What was that? It was the day of the Kings-Pelicans game. And I told him, I said, man, I got to give it to you because I haven't been excited to cover a slate of games in November and December in probably ever. You know what I mean? It's just like I can't recall ever feeling that way before. And that just hasn't been the case. And, the knock on the NBA for a while has been the NBA doesn't get serious till after the All-Star break. And so I think this in-season tournament has definitely helped change that narrative, and it definitely got players involved. And we haven't had really any load management type situations during this in-season tournament. So I like it. And then, I'm off to Vegas tomorrow, so I'll be there for the Final Four. But I like it. The court designs, I could take it or leave it. I don't know. Like some of the coaches, I talked to, a handful of coaches around, a dozen coaches throughout the league about, some adjustments they will make to the in-season tournament. And some are cool with the point differential system. Others would like it to be like you have to win, like quarters matter. Winning quarters matter. Right. And that would be the deciding factor. That way you don't have those kind of leaving your star players in the last minutes or seconds when the game is already out of reach. They feel like that would be a better way of respecting the unspoken rules of the game. But, there's a couple things. I personally, for the in-season tournament, I personally would like for the NBA to just, once the in-season tournament starts, let's just stay on that for 2 weeks until its conclusion.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
As part of the broadcast, we're TNT broadcasting and ESPN for sure as well. We got to keep keeping the fans abreast of what the records are in the in-season tournament, even though they haven't played an in-season game in like 4 games. So you constantly have to remind people where the records stand. But if you just keep it on the in-season tournament for 2 weeks. Okay, now everybody is in. Everybody's involved, and so I would like that. I would like to see that implemented next season.
Chris Haynes, TNT Bleacher Report. Thank you, Chris. We appreciate your time, especially on short notice. Enjoy the weekend. We'll be watching, and we hope to talk to you again soon.
Appreciate you guys. Take care.
All right, our guy Chris Haynes.
Yeah,
local guy, lives out in Elk Grove. If people didn't know,
nice. Why are they having the games at such? Well, the first game especially, it's such a goofy time.
Weird times, right? 2 o'clock Pacific, 5 Eastern. I just, I know it's back-to-back, 2 games in the same building.
That's the only thing I could think of is they're going to have separate admissions. So
right,
they want
separate
to clear
admissions. And
still.
Let me think here. So, but the second game is at what, 7? No, earlier than that, 6 our time. I can't remember. I don't know if it's because separate admissions, like you said, or maybe give players time to warm up. Guys have their warm up 2 hours before the game instead of like, in college, you get half hour or whatever.
That's part of a tournament. It's like, all right, the game's over. Let's go.
Let's go. Right. Let's start the next one. Right. Yeah. It's weird, man. 2 o'clock tomorrow, we'll be watching basketball.
Yeah. I agree with Chris about one way to improve the tournament. I think you mentioned this.
Yeah.
When you have the period where this is an in-season tournament game, but your next game's not, and then you have another one.
Right.
It just, it unnecessarily confuses it a little bit.
It really does. And, from a player standpoint, you're emotional, you get high and you get low. It's just sort of like a roller coaster thing. And also you're telling fans this game means more, but tomorrow's game doesn't mean as much. It's kind of weird. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so since they're out, the Kings will play the Phoenix Suns on Friday. When we come back, Kings broadcaster and original Sacramento King, the great Eddie Johnson joins us. Drive Guys on Sactown Sports.
It's that time of year again. Sactown Sports is welcoming Santa back to town for the 40th annual Santa Parade, Saturday, December 9th in downtown Sacramento. Grab the family and join us as we celebrate Santa's arrival with marching bands, superheroes, cheer squads, and more. Parade starts at 10 a.m. at 14th and N. We'll see you Saturday, December 9th in downtown for the Santa Parade with Western Health Advantage, Huff Home Services, and the California National Guard. Get more information at SactownSports.com.
What's for dinner? Burgers?
After last week, no thanks.
Avoiding foods due to fear of diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools? It may not be just stomach issues. It could be EPI, or exocrine pancreatic insufficiency. EPI can cause uncomfortable symptoms because it's a condition where the pancreas doesn't release enough digestive enzymes to break down food. But EPI can be managed. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor about your symptoms. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
As
as we come together to celebrate the end of this long, long year. Stockton Honda has savings to bring us all cheer. Happy Honda Day savings and selection galore. Stockton Honda's online express purchase and great people give you more.
Save on 400 new Hondas at Stockton Honda during Happy Honda Days. Shop in person or online with our express purchase option.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
Lowe's knows how to save pros time and money. Right now, get up to 40% off vanities. And there's more. Get up to 50% off select tools and accessories from trusted top brands like DeWalt and Craftsman. Visit us in-store or online for more deals you can't beat. Because Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows pros. About 11/30 through 12/6. While supplies last. Selection varies by location.
O'Reilly.
Does your vehicle have over 75,000 miles? Get maximum high-mileage engine protection with Syntec Full Synthetic High-Mileage Motor Oil exclusively at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Right now, get 5 quarts of Syntec High Mileage and a MicroGuard Select Oil Filter for just $34.99. Limit supply. Ask for Syntec High Mileage at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave asking you, are you feeling the pain of paying more and more for your gas? PG&E has increased their rates 4 times in the last 5 years, and the new forecast says PG&E customers may see their bills increase 32% by 2026. The good thing is there are steps you can take to protect yourself from these rate hikes, and better yet, American Energy may be able to help you completely eliminate your gas bill with a new ultra-high efficiency comfort system. Did you know SMUD offers huge rebates to eliminate your old gas guzzler? They can help you guide through the whole process. Seriously, listen to me. You go to the SMUD website. There's tons of rebates available, but it is confusing on how to do it. Listen to these rebates. $2,500 from American Energy, $3,500 from SMUD, $1,000 from Caltech, $2,000 home system upgrades. That's $9,000 in rebates. Let American Energy help you out at 916-520-9990.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Live and local, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., Monday through Friday. Sactown Sports.
Doing okay now, Drapes? I know earlier we had some conversation about Harrison Barnes.
Yeah, I'm calming down there, man.
All right.
My guy Chris Haynes came on, so I'm feeling good. I'm A-okay. Hopefully we can table this Harrison Barnes discussion. If people want to still talk about it, sure, go for it. You call in 916-339-1140, but I'm calm, cool, and collected right now.
Yeah, there's a good chance. Not today, maybe, but there's a good chance that at some point, it'll circle back to that. As you know, it just seems to be something that Kings fans like to talk about now and then.
Yeah, and it's been that way ever since he got here too, pretty much. It's been a thing, and here we are, yearly discussion on Harrison Barnes. It's what we do here.
Yeah. So is Eddie going to be joining us here in just? Yeah. All right. We're going to talk to former Sacramento King Eddie Johnson in just a moment, with the Kings getting ready now to play the Phoenix Suns, a team that kind of took it on the chin last night. But the Suns have been playing pretty good basketball, as you well know.
They have, and Kevin Durant is on a tear right now. They haven't been healthy all season long, and KD's been the one constant. And, his numbers, once again, he, went head-to-head with LeBron James, almost, maybe even should have won that game based on that non-call, which the officials now say was a correct call. That LeBron timeout came correctly. It was called correctly. They're saying Austin Reeves had the ball pinned against his leg.
Sure.
I wonder if Eddie Johnson has sort of calmed down after last night.
Yeah, a fierce competitor
yes.
To this day. Bradley Beal is supposed to be, back within the next 10 days, I think. At this point, I'm sure the Suns feel like, whatever. I wonder if they regret
whatever.
that. Well, do they regret that move, I wonder?
And they gave up a lot, obviously.
They're playing good without him.
That. Yeah. They are playing good. And, when you look at the standings, the fact that they're 12-9, I'm looking at the Western Conference standings from the 2 spot to the 9 spot. The 10 spot is only separated by 4 games.
Mm-hmm.
2 spot to the 12 spot only separated, or 11 spot, by 4.5 games.
A lot like last year. Maybe even more so.
And so a good week can put you right back in it, and a bad week can drop you down.
Yeah, and there's one thing about the nature of this season for the Kings. yeah, we don't have the in-season tournament now, but every game really is truly a very significant game.
Yes, every game is. And, obviously the in-season tournament has helped that. But when you have a loaded Western Conference where when you look at 15 teams, 12 of them, 11 legitimately have a shot at the playoffs or play-in. Like, there's going to be a big-name team left out, whether it's Dallas, whether it's, Clippers. I don't think they'll, but, somebody with some stars is going to be left out of the playoff picture.
How impressed are you with the Lakers so far this year? Their
I'm really, yeah.
Some
I'm
people
actually
say their record's better than they really have played.
They're 13-9. They're 7-3 in their last 10, and they haven't really been whole all season long. Some of their acquisitions, Rui Hachimura has been out some time. You got I'm forgetting the guy's name, but he's been out. Like, some of their new acquisitions, we haven't really seen all together. And to me, the Lakers.
Gabe Vincent, is that?
Gabe Vincent. Gabe Vincent. Yep, our guy. I forgot about him too. And I think the Lakers are one of those teams that are going to be primed for the postseason, built for the playoffs, especially with their age, with LeBron and AD. They're going to have some games they lose. They're going to struggle a little bit, but I wouldn't want to see them in the playoffs. I don't care who you are, maybe except Denver, but you could argue the Lakers could be the second best team in the Western Conference.
I understand that. I sure would have liked to have seen them
last year
in the in-season tournament coming up.
Oh, in season, yeah.
So we got Tyrese Halliburton and Pacers taking on Milwaukee on the eastern side, and we got the Pelicans against the Lakers. Those are your final four in the in-season tournament. The NBA is hoping we end up with Giannis against LeBron.
Yeah, that's the marquee matchup. That's two of the game's biggest stars. But, when you look at, and I know the Pacers aren't a premier franchise in terms of box office draw, but Tyrese Halliburton's changing that a little bit. They're becoming, last year it was the Sacramento Kings, the league pass must-see. I could argue it's the Pacers this year. Pacers or Orlando. Those two franchises, those are ones where they play exciting ball. They're young. They're energetic. They get up and down. They're sort of the Sacramento of this year, I think, those two teams.
Do you think they missed Sabonis there with the Pacers? For all the talk of, the Kings, they should have kept Halliburton. I'm sure Indiana didn't know that Sabonis was capable of playing the way he played last year.
Yeah.
I know he was an all-star before. I know that.
Right. But I think they like what they have.
Yeah.
Remember, you don't get Tyrese if you give up Sabonis. And they've sort of had a reclamation product with some of the players on their team. You look at a guy like Obi Toppin, for instance. Remember Obi Toppin coming out of college? He was this high flyer, was only known as
literally
a dunker.
A Dayton high flyer.
A Dayton high flyer, exactly. But he's been playing extremely well for them this season. I'm pulling up the numbers right here. Obi Toppin, 13 points, averaging, let me see, close to 4 rebounds. He's added an energy. Aaron Nesmith, a former Boston Celtic. I mean, they got 3, 6. They got 8 guys averaging in double figures.
I have no idea if this guy's available, but you mentioned Obi Toppin. Today I did a podcast with Jerry. Jerry Reynolds going to be in for you tomorrow.
Yep.
And I was asking him just, hey, what about Siakam or maybe Anunoby? You don't know if you're the Kings, if you have him next year. He said, I wouldn't do that. It's too risky. He said, but how about a guy like Obi Toppin? That's who he mentioned. Now, I have no idea whether he would be available, but I see Jerry's point. If you're the Kings, you might have to try to get a guy who you pretty sure has a higher ceiling. You got to find a guy who's undervalued. A guy who everyone knows how good he is. It's probably going to be too expensive.
Low, right?
There
exactly.
You go.
No, and I think if you're Monty, especially what Chris Haynes just talked about, you're going to have to pay De'Aaron Fox a bunch of money.
Yeah.
Like, you paid DeMontis Sabonis a bunch. Can we really have 3 max guys or 3 guys close to max?
Tough.
That's going to be
tough. The
tough.
NBA's making it tougher and tougher than ever to do that, too.
Exactly. So that's why you got to buy low on some of these guys. And an Obi Toppin, you talk about a rim runner, a guy that can, he would be exciting in Sacramento.
Yeah. How are we going to make the in-season tournament better next year, Kyle?
I'm siding with Chris Haynes, and I said this. It needs to be 2 weeks straight, 2.5 weeks. Only games you're playing are in-season tournament games. You can complete the group play in a week and a half. Then the second week, because I'm saying 2.5, you can then do the elimination. round. And so I just think, and somebody raised this, I think on the text line or the YouTube, like the Lakers wrapped up their 4 games before the Kings had even played their second or third. Like it's just, and you don't know, is this an in-season tournament game? How come these teams are playing this night and not? I would like to see 2 to 3 weeks straight of just in-season tournament games.
I think the group stage has to be longer. I know that this year it was all new. Who knows how it's going to work? But I think it needs to be a little more substantial, a little more meaningful when you get out of your group rather than just play 4 games. And I think the NBA got lucky this year that it didn't come down to some cockamamie tiebreaker, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So, and the Kings clearly won their group. They won all their games.
You think 4 divisions maybe or something like that? Or
yeah, I mean, I don't care if it's divisions or the groups, whatever.
Right.
Yeah, probably. I mean, divisions would make a lot of sense, but I don't
because
know
it was 6
I don't know
now.
if you can do that with
Right.
the math.
Right.
Yeah.
And when you say play more games, is it facing like
Everybody a couple times,
round robin,
yeah,
a couple
home and
times.
how about home and home?
Home and home.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe
Yeah.
an 8-gamer or something like that.
Yeah.
It's part of the. Yeah, you could do that too.
Yeah.
I can see that.
On the other hand, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? And
Right.
it worked out when we had no idea how it would go, and so far, so good.
Yeah.
People loved it, and the players seemed to like it.
Yeah, the players seem to like it, and 500,000 on the line. I actually didn't know that the Kings got 50,000 each.
Oh,
for just making it out of group stage,
right?
Is what I heard. That
and
was
the
reported.
broadcasters get like 7 or 8.
Like $5. You know, like that's about serious. No, man, I don't know who to talk to. Adam Silver, Vivek, somebody, but this the broadcasters got to share in this money also. But yeah, so the Kings got 50,000. If you advance to Vegas, the minimum you get is 100,000. And so, you know, and I think the next is 250 for the runner-up, 500 for the champion.
Yeah. And if it does come down to the Lakers, Bucks, or even the Lakers, if the Lakers get in, the Bucks get in, you get one of your biggest stars in the finals. In a way, it legitimizes the whole thing. So I know the NBA has got their fingers crossed that they end up with one of those guys in the finals, LeBron, Giannis, maybe both of them, and Dame too. That would, and I'm going to watch no matter what, right? I'm hooked.
Right,
I admit,
right.
You got me, NBA.
And I look at the matchups. And even though the Pelicans aren't a big market team, the Pacers aren't a big market team, they have players that are exciting to watch. Remember, Zion was one of the young faces of this league. He was one of the guys must-see TV. And so I'm going to be watching. And I love watching Tyrese Halliburton play. And so they may not be the biggest of names, biggest of markets, but those are exciting guys to watch play.
And the Pelicans played here Monday like this thing means a lot to them.
Yes. And that's going to be an interesting matchup, too, because when you look at LeBron and Zion, I would imagine LeBron might have to check Zion. You're talking about, 2 Mack trucks set to go at it, 2 linebackers. And so, we had talked on Monday, how do you defend Zion? We really don't have anybody with the same size. Well, the Lakers do, and a guy like LeBron James.
When we come right back, we're still endeavoring to get the great Andy Johnson on. Also, we got an update, Kyle, on the future of the Eagles tush push.
Uh-oh. Yeah. I don't know if I want to hear this.
Yeah, don't hold your breath on that thing coming back next year. That's next when we come back on Sactown Sports.
What's the latest with the San Francisco 49ers? Carmichael, Dave, and Jason Ross keep you up to date on all things red and gold during the Niners at 9 every weekday at 9 a.m. on Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com.
A holiday message from Jackson Hewitt.
Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to get money the same day.
Starting December 11th, walk into a Jackson Hewitt for an early loan on your tax refund, and you could walk out with up to $1,000.
Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to get money. Listen out, would be great.
Appointments go fast. Book yours now at jacksonhewitt.com. Early refund advance offered to eligible clients. Application required. Finance charge applies. Loans by Republic Bank. Details at jacksonhewitt.com.
God, I'm so stressed about my business not being ready for the holidays.
Ooma.
What is that? Meditation?
I'm recommending the Ooma cloud phone system with auto attendant and more than 35 features.
Ooma?
Yep. Switching to Ooma is a cinch. Starts at $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Now you're feeling it. Visit ooma.com. That's OOMA.com to learn more. Ooma. Smart communications for the smarter business.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-330-2929. That's 800-330-2929. 800-330-2929.
Red Hawk Resort Casino is the best place to go all in and all out. Go all in at our table games, then go all out to win on the area's only 3-story indoor kart track. Or go all in for our famous award-winning buffet. Then go all out at our state-of-the-art 18-lane bowling center. And now with a world-class sports bar and beautiful resort hotel, you can go all in for fun and all out for comfort. We're Red Hawk Resort Casino, official casino partner of the Sacramento Kings.
Get year-end pricing during Happy Honda Days at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop for great pricing on our entire selection of new CRVs, HRVs, Ridgeline Civics, and Accords. Plus, with low finance and lease options, now's the time to buy. Hurry in and save during Happy Honda Days at Folsom Lake Honda, or go to folsomlakehonda.com.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
Guys, your testosterone level impacts your energy, drive, weight, hair loss, and even ED. Revive Men's Health Sacramento will check your T level for free. For your free T level check, exam, and consultation, call 916-277-8599 or visit revivemenshealth.com.
Your flagship station for the Beam Team, Sactown Sports.
Yeah, I don't know if you see my sweatshirt today. Speaking of the Kings, this is the Okinawa. It's the Ryukyu Golden Kings Okinawa basketball, the Okinawa Kings. So brought that back from Okinawa. Yeah, the team there is called the Kings. I don't know if they have a beam. I was going to go to a game and then start a light the beam chant, see what happened. But they were on the road. They were playing the Miramachi Seahorses or something. I don't know, and we couldn't go see that game. But I was hoping to get the beam started in Okinawa, Kyle. But they're on the road. They're on the road. Yeah, but they're a very nice team store where I got this sweatshirt.
That would have been a great video, too. If it actually happened, like you light the beam chance.
Yeah.
You would have captured that. That thing would have went viral. Oh, man.
Yeah, they got a new arena there because, they just had the World Cup in Asia, and they had, I think the Philippines where the finals were. So they have in Okinawa, they had some of the games there, and they had a new arena. So basketball taken up. The only NBA thing I saw though in Japan was the day the Kings were playing the Warriors. Were in some mall somewhere, and there was a Steph Curry jersey and like a LeBron jersey. And that was about it.
That was it, huh?
Yeah. And then there was a store in Okinawa where they had in the window. They had a Michael Jordan jersey hanging, and it was a Wizards jersey. And I was like, what?
Really?
What? Yeah. Why do you have that? But I guess it was a collector's item. Anyway, let's see, Drive Guys here on Sactown Sports. I wanted to clarify something we talked about a couple days ago on the brotherly shove. You prefer that to the
Yes,
tush
I like
push?
that. Brotherly shove. Yes.
Okay. We know that this weekend a story came out that Roger Goodell was against it. Now, Roger Goodell wasn't quoted directly. This was a report that, according to a source, he's dead set against this thing. So we don't know that for certain. What we do know is that the competition committee is currently reviewing the quarterback push play. The league has been monitoring the play. Per the source, numerous clubs have asked about it. The conversation will continue into the offseason. The source also says the commissioner, Roger Goodell, has expressed no opinion on the play. So that's officially no opinion.
No opinion.
But reports are that he doesn't care for it. He technically doesn't have a vote. Roughly 18 teams have used some form of the play. Only the Eagles have perfected it. So we'll see how they vote. My guess is that teams are going to look at that and it's like, well, the Eagles are the only team that does it, and we can't stop it. So we vote no. I bet they're probably going to get rid of it.
Yeah, which is disappointing to me, obviously, because I'm a Philly fan, yes. But what is it about the play that has so many people up in arms, so many people upset? Oh, it's not aesthetically pleasing. It's football. What are we talking about? This isn't a ballet or a dance or anything like that. And so it's not like, the Eagles are using some sort of competitive advantage. This is something every single NFL team can do. And outside, I think the problem, if teams were able to run it and be successful, their fans would like it.
Yeah.
So, and that's why Eagles fans love it, because they're so good at it. If Dallas was able to do it with Dak Prescott, there wouldn't be all this up in arms. And who's up in arms about it anyway? Is it the coaches? Is it the executives? Is it the media? Is it the fan base? I don't get why we're all of a sudden trying to outlaw this play.
I do think, as you said, aesthetically pleasing. I think, reading between the lines, that the commissioner on some level feels like, well, that's not a good look for us. Yeah, okay. Officially, he has no comment. But I think there's a sense that this is not a good look for the league. This isn't, especially when the NFL is trying to make the game safer. I don't know, but the bottom line is, if at least 9 owners say, yes, keep it around, it'll still be around. But otherwise, bye-bye to the brotherly shove. It's really, and your team's great at it, I know, and they've picked up some big yardage in big situations, but it really hasn't been that impactful, right?
No,
it's not like they have their record because of that play.
Right, exactly. And, sure, it changes things. Everybody talks about, well, really it's you got 4 downs or 3 downs to get 9 yards, and then you get, it I think is a game changer in close games, in tight games.
Yeah,
it makes you rethink. Yeah.
Because basically it's 1st and 9.
First
right?
and 9, exactly. It makes you think, should I go for it or not? But that's with every play. We talk about aesthetically pleasing. The quarterback sneak's not aesthetically pleasing,
right?
But we do that. We're okay with that. So I just don't get it.
Mm-hmm. So good luck to you, but it looks like the powers
it's
that be
about
may
to
be
come up
aligned.
to an end here.
Yeah.
We better win the Super Bowl this year, Eagles. I'm telling you, man.
I'd like to see someone stop it, figure out how to stop it, but honestly, I don't know how you're going to do that unless you have a special, package, special 3-down lineman.
Right. Well, the Niners tried to, who was it that jumped over? Greenlaw or Fred Warner? Yeah, jumped over. I will say, like I said the other day, when Marcus Mariota tried to run it, it wasn't, I think he got the first, but by like a hair, thanks to a good spot, I think Jalen Hurts has mastered it. And I don't know what what skill is needed. Like, is it the quarterback and the way he tucks in? Is it the push? Is it the offensive lineman? Like, how are you so good at that?
Jason
and why
Kelsey says it's hell under there trying to make that work. He says is not easy.
But I don't understand why other teams aren't as successful with it, though, because it doesn't look too complicated on the surface.
I'll bet you on some level it's we can do better than that. We can figure out something better than that.
Yeah. We can scheme
we
something.
don't want to get somebody hurt.
Right. We can do play action or run pass option or, in the Eagles, meanwhile, they're saying, you know what? We're not going to get creative or, try to gimmick you. We're just going to do this, push you ahead. So.
Mm-hmm. Have you ever, because I certainly have, I'm not putting you on the spot. We've all been in these situations, been in a situation where you felt the need, especially like to maybe your wife or a boss, where you felt like, oh, I'm going to have to apologize for that.
Who, me?
Yeah.
I don't apologize for much. Right?
Okay. But if you did, can you imagine, like, let's just say you did something, said something to your wife, whatever, and you're like, I should apologize. Can you imagine how it would go over if you had someone else do it for you? Probably wouldn't go over.
No, not
right?
good.
Yeah.
That's kind of weak. Yeah.
Dre Greenlaw and Dom DeSandro.
Oh, my guy, Dom.
Yeah. 49ers linebacker and the Eagles head of security. They apologized to each other through intermediaries.
There you go.
So they had other people. You go apologize to him. Yeah. And then, and this guy's apologizing for you. They apologized through intermediaries for their respective roles in the sideline incident.
That's kind of, what is this? Yeah. They didn't send carrier pigeons or mail each other a letter or a card?
Dre Greenlaw could say, I don't want to apologize to that. Okay, I got it. He's so sorry.
Right?
Right?
Or if you're going to apologize, just be like, hey, what's Dre's number? Let me text him. Sorry, Dre. Intermediaries?
Yes. Dre Greenlaw said he seemed like a genuine guy. He seemed like a guy everyone loved in the building. So I hate that it even escalated and went to that. End quote. Again, keep in mind, the guy did not actually apologize to him. He apologized through someone else.
Did they have to have a meeting or something? Or, did they go to somebody's office, sit down? Or was it, after the game in the hallway somewhere?
It's not clear. It's a great question. Right. It's not clear. I do know.
Roger Goodell arrange a phone call or something? It's kind of weird.
He probably could talk to both of them. Then, hey, this guy says he's so sorry. Oh, he's so sorry. Did you see that your guy, Dom DeSandro, he apparently after the game, he was smart. He went to John Lynch and said, I'm really sorry. Yeah. So it sounds to me like everybody involved realizes this is a big thing.
Yeah.
Everybody's talking about it.
Cooler heads afterwards.
Let's just do whatever we have to do to move on. So yeah, they apologize. Everybody's cool. We move on.
Yeah. And that's what adults do, right? It's, I think that game was so emotionally charged. Guys got out of character, maybe talking about Dom. We talked about it. He was in the wrong. No doubt about that. And, he's being the bigger man, him and Dre. And, that's how it should be.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the question is, though, let me ask you this. I'm going to sneak this in here.
Yeah.
When they face each other again in the NFC Championship game, do you think it will be as emotionally charged or as
it'll be more?
You think so?
Don't you think so?
Yeah.
Maybe these guys, I don't know, DeSandro, maybe you have to remove himself. I don't know. But as far as the game, there'll be even more at stake. It'll be more intense.
More fired up. But I don't know, and this may come off as being homerish.
That's
and if so,
fine.
I apologize.
We understand that.
But
the Niners, should have someone apologize for you, but okay.
I know. But the Niners were so geeked up in this game, before this game. We're so fired up. I don't know if the Eagles are going to come in with that sort of bravado, that sort of machoism. I don't know if that's their style. And so that's why I think it may not be as much trash talk and as much extracurricular stuff.
You're going to disagree with this, I'd bet.
Right.
But I remember the 49ers, when they're playing well, they remind me of Bill Walsh's old 49ers in that they were great on the road, and Bill Walsh was great at getting the team. It was a great team anyway, but hey, it's us against the world. These 49ers really seem to rally around that this week in Philly. If they have to play at home against the Eagles, there won't be that same sense of, all right, guys, it's us against the world.
Yeah. No, you might be right, which is fine with me. I would love that. I want them to come in a little soft, a little squishy, a little fat and happy.
Hey, we're home. We got these guys now.
Yes, exactly. I think, along those lines, it'll be interesting what happens Sunday. Do they come with that same edge, that same intensity? You already whooped up on the Seahawks. You're coming off a huge win against Philly. Can you get up again? And you're at home, to your point. And so it'll be interesting to see what happens Sunday against Seattle.
Mm-hmm. They are a little banged up. I saw before I came in, Emil in the parking lot, and he says, Armstead didn't practice today. He's probably not playing, and Burford's hurt. And
Armstead probably shouldn't have played this last week, but because of the magnitude of the game, he gutted it out.
Right.
He played,
Right. Isn't that the definition of a trap game, a game before or right after a really huge game?
And 100%. And that's why if I'm Seattle, this is your time. You've been reeling right now, but this is, San Francisco's fat, happy. They're feeling good about themselves. It's sort of like what we saw with the Kings against the Warriors. You expend so much energy, you put so much into that game that you got to play the next night. Well, this time you got to play the next week.
When we come right back, why the Kings' next foe may be a little riled up Friday night. That's coming up with the Drive Guys on Sactown Sports.
Last season, the Sacramento Kings gave us a little bit of everything. A Pacific Division title, GM of the Year, Coach of the Year, Clutch Player of the Year, All-Stars and All-NBA performers. Plus, we got to light the beam.
Here's a steal by Fox, the breakaway. He's got the rip with the left hand.
What does this season have in store? Find out. Each and every Sacramento Kings game can be heard right here on your proud home of the Beam team, Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
This time of year, big box tool stores start to sell a whole bunch of not tools, from dancing Santas to plastic trees. At Northern Tool and Equipment, we'd rather sell you a 4-horsepower chainsaw fitted with a full chisel chain to cut down your own tree. And we have wood chippers come January, because mulch. We're cutting prices on your favorite brands this holiday season. Save on Milwaukee, Ingersoll Rand, and Metaltech in-store or at northerntool.com.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. 120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
It's Credit Christmas at Prestigio Jewelers. Get the gifts you want this year. Prestigio guarantees your credit up to $10,000. It's easy. Have a valid ID, proof of income, and be 18 or older. Prestigio has competitive pricing on all jewelry such as gold chains, wedding sets, diamond earrings, and designer brands like Cartier, Gucci, Bulova, and Citizen. Rebuild your credit, even with a repo or a bankruptcy at Prestigio Jewelers. This Christmas, come for the credit and be amazed by the selection at Prestigio Jewelers. Online at prestigiojewelers.com.
Carmichael Dave here for Jiffy Lube, your proud sponsor of the Drive of the Game. Now listen to every Kings game for Gary Gerald's Drive of the Game call. Then listen to Jason and myself the next morning for a chance to win a $100 Jiffy Lube certificate, courtesy of all the Jiffy Lube locations in the greater Sacramento area. Get your vehicle ready for the holiday driving season at Jiffy Lube today. Oil changes, wiper blades, tire rotations, and more. For more information, go to jiffylube.com.
Folsom Lake Ford has trucks. The F-150s are here. Explorers, Expeditions, and a huge selection of Broncos and Bronco Sports. They're in stock now at Folsom Lake Ford. Shop Folsom Lake Ford, your truck headquarters, right here in Sacramento for your favorite Ford models at good, fair prices. Short on cash? Buy any new Ford with zero down. Save big with low interest finance rates. Plus, Folsom Lake Ford is paying top dollar for all trades. We want your vehicle regardless of mileage or condition. This could be the best time to buy a new Ford. Check out the huge inventory online at folsomlakeford.com or stop by the dealership and see the most recent arrivals. Looking for something special? Give them a call and tell them Doug Christie sent you. Folsom Lake Ford in the Folsom Auto Mall, your trusted dealer, my trusted dealer for over 30 years. FolsomLakeFord.com.
Zero down with approved credit. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios. KHTKAM Sacramento. KYMX HD2 Sacramento. Sacramento's official home for the San Francisco 49ers.
Touchdown! San Francisco!
Sactown Sports.
The only station in Sacramento giving you local sports coverage from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. Sactown Sports.
And speaking of the 49ers, coming up, our next segment, you won't believe it. We just found out, Janaik and I just found out who Kyle Draper's favorte 49er is. We'll have that was coming up.
I thought that was all air.
Whitey.
Wow.
We got that coming up. And again, I most sincerely do I say this. I commend you for the way you this week, showing up in the jersey and wearing it. And that's standing up.
I'm a man of my word, dude.
And
not only did I wear a Brock Purdy jersey, it wasn't a knockoff, clearance rack 1999. I paid $140 for that jersey. Yeah, I invested in that jersey.
Where's that jersey at again now, Drapes?
You know what? That's a good question. I'm not sure. I think it's under my couch at home somewhere. Like, seriously, it's like on the floor in the living room somewhere. I'm going to the Niners game on Sunday, Niners Seahawks.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll give it away to a fan down there. Like, I don't know.
And your son don't want it?
No, my son is a Chiefs fan, bro. Wow. Yeah, my daughter's a Chiefs fan.
Oh, it's blasphemy.
You know how kids are, man.
How did that happen? Is it just the Mahomes factor?
Yeah, Mahomes factor, front runners, that kind of thing. And, we were in New England, and he liked the Patriots, but he wasn't diehard. He's been Chiefs for about 5 or 6 years now.
Speaking of the Chiefs, who just said this? Quote, football is awesome, it turns out. I've been missing out my whole life. Your girl said that.
My girl? Who said that?
Taylor Swift.
I love Taylor Swift. She can get away with it. She can get away with it.
Yeah, I guess it was an interview with Time. She explained everything about her relationship with Kelsey. She's like, I don't really care. But anyway, yeah, football. When I first heard that, I thought, oh, that sounds like something Carmichael Dave would say. But so coming up, yeah, Drape's favorite 49er. How about that? Friday night, the Kings back in action against the Phoenix Suns. The Phoenix Suns are going to be a little riled up from what happened to him last night, don't you think?
Yes, 100%. And you watch that game, and I'm watching it, and it was a heck of a game. It was a hell of a game. Big plays made by all the stars in that game. But for that to come down to the Lakers almost gave that away. They should have given that away. When Austin Reeves fumbles the ball, Suns are about to come up with the steal, and LeBron calls a timeout. Replays showed us, looking at it from a fan standpoint at home, that the Lakers didn't control the ball. They didn't have control, so you can't call a timeout when it's a loose ball. But they still give it to him anyway. After the game, the official says the ball was, Austin Reeves had it pinned on his leg. That's why that constitutes control. I'm like, that's kind of shady. But then the 2-minute report echoes the same thing. And I'll read it to you word by word, Kings fans out there. LA is granted a timeout when Reeves recovers the ball. So they say he did lose it and pins it against his leg before he loses it again. They said it's a correct call, which is unbelievable.
This could be a blessing. This could actually be the beginning of the end of the 2-minute report, because typically they'll come out and they'll say, yeah, we missed that call. We missed that call. But this one, it appears to me, is so blatantly wrong that they may lose all credibility. I'll have to go back and watch it again. I watched it, as a lot of people did today before the show started. I had watching the video and pausing it every time LeBron called timeout, trying to give him every benefit of the doubt. Because if you're the official, you can't call the timeout until he at least turns and asks for it.
Right.
So, all right, give him every benefit of the doubt. Maybe, as soon as his hands start to come together, pause it, and the ball's loose.
Yeah.
So, and I did it a handful of times. I never found one example where I could have reasonably said, yes, if you're the official, I could see how you call timeout there. And yet, the 2-minute report says, it was a correct call. The 2-minute report has just jumped the shark. It's done. It's over.
Here's what's even worse about the 2-minute report from last night. It says the officials missed 3 calls last night in the final 2 minutes. All of them were in the Suns' favor. Like, they should have called fouls that would have sent Lakers. So it's like, not only did the Lakers get the benefit, in our opinion, of a bad call, the timeout, the Lakers should have gotten more free throws or something like that. It's just, what purpose does the 2-minute report serve? Is it just for transparency? Well, what if it's transparent and you still get it wrong?
Then,
it's like, what's the point? Like you're saying. Yeah.
That, we were talking earlier about officiating, which, again, I know it's incredibly difficult. I'd never want to do it. Just, like doing youth games and stuff where you got to whistle. I was like, I hated it. I was like, this is really hard. But last year, some of the officiating in the NBA, I really do think it was some of the most bizarre officiating I ever saw. Just 2 examples. One, a Sacramento example. The other one, not. Remember when Klay Thompson fouled Kevin Herter?
Oh, yeah, that was terrible.
And, there was just there's no debate over what happened. When he shoots and he gets clobbered, and so that's a foul.
Right.
And then there was another game last year watching Christmas Day, and the Warriors were playing Memphis. And there was a foul. It was like James Wiseman actually played. And there's a foul. Somebody fouled Wiseman. And then there's a timeout, and there's free throws. And they come out, and Clay's shooting the free throw. And Taylor Jenkins and the Grizz are going, he's not the guy who got fouled.
Yeah.
And you see the replay, and they're showing on TV. Yeah, he wasn't one of those fouled. And the officials, all right, they confer. They go, Thompson shooting the free throws.
And they still gave it to Clay.
Yes. So last year especially, there were some just absolutely bizarre calls. This year, I don't know, but last night, that wasn't a golden moment for NBA officiating.
Not at all. And, I don't think, in the whole grand scheme of things, I don't think there's any conspiracy or anything like that. I think guys just miss calls or are bad at their jobs in that given moment. I don't think it's any, I'm going to favor the Lakers tonight or I'm a favor of the Warriors. I just think they're, they're bad at times, and we see it in all sports, in football. How do you miss that pass interference against Kansas City? The guy was all over his back. It was like a piggyback ride all of a sudden. And that's what's so frustrating as a fan. And I think it has gotten worse because we have more cameras than ever. I don't know how you watch a game, talking about an NBA game, but when I watch it and there's a foul, the first thing I think of is, let me see the replay to see whether it was a foul. We've sort of been conditioned now to, I don't want to say distrust the referees, but second guess. Let me see for myself. Let me make that call myself. And I think we've sort of been conditioned with that. And we get so many replays. And so many times you hear announcers that way, especially on the local broadcast, the home team broadcast. I used to work with Tommy Heinsohn in Boston. That was right. They used to always say that, but it used to always be an indictment on the officials. Every call had to be adjudicated right there on air.
Yeah, it's one of the things I appreciate about you and Katie. Every call's like, that was a great call. Every call.
That
was a terrific call.
Not Katie. We try to be balanced, but it's tough, man. It's tough sometimes because we want our guys to win. So.
I know. In addition to what you said, how we see every angle now, and that makes it harder to officiate because there are mistakes that years ago we would have never been aware of, and now we can see them. I also think officials, umpires are aware of that, and I think sometimes that puts more pressure on them, and sometimes they choke because they know everybody is seeing this call.
Exactly.
Everybody, and that distracts them from what they actually have to do.
Yeah, 100%. And not only that, it's hard for them to make admit a mistake afterwards. And the worst is when they double down on it, like we saw last night with the call from against the Suns and allowing the timeout. It's like, okay, you're going to get it wrong there, but then don't treat me like Boo-Boo the Fool and, double down on it last night and then again today. It just makes the league look bad. It makes the officials look bad.
The reason there is a 2-minute report, in my opinion, is because there's been, over the years, so many issues. People have suspected things are not on the level, and it does go back to that, the Kings and the Lakers, 2002, rightly or wrongly, there were so many people that felt like, I think there's something going on there, that I felt the NBA was obligated to look. No. See, we're telling you everything, all the calls that we made, right and wrong. But last night, I think, is setting back that effort a little bit.
Yeah, but, I think if we're being real, and I don't know if we want to go here, but I'm going to go there. We look at our society right now and the people we see on TV outside of sports in the world of politics, they can lie right to our face and not be called on it. And I think it's like where lying has sort of become acceptable. I'm not saying the NBA is lying or anything like that, but that transparency and all that doesn't matter anymore. People are going to believe what they believe. People are going to see what they want to see, and people are going to say what they want to say. And so I don't think the 2-minute report is now accomplishing what it set out to be honest with you. It's only raising more questions and more disappointment, I think, in fans right now.
I agree. On the other hand, if you were to say we're not doing that anymore, some people
then
go,
it's like, see, you are covering it up. Right.
So
exactly.
Yeah.
You know what they should do? They should announce penalties against officials, sanctions against, officials are taken away from prime games, playoff spots, and things like that. There should be some sort of, like they find the fans or find the players. Well, so-and-so made a bad call last night. He's suspended for a week or something like that. Or, because I don't know what the repercussions are. If you're an official, I guess maybe, like I said, you don't get playoff games or NBA finals, but there needs to be something more public, I think, for officials.
See, you may be right, but I could see how that would have the opposite effect. It's important for them to have some kind of integrity. And if fans know that, if we have the analytics on, that guy made 5 wrong calls last week alone.
Yeah.
Boo! Then maybe the fans end up with less faith in what they're doing. I'm not sure that there's a benefit there.
I don't know what the answer is, but you look at a case like Chris Paul and Scott Foster. Really, and you look at the numbers and the history.
And that is such an issue, pardon me, but just to emphasize your point, the commissioner had to just come out and comment on that.
Yes, and that's why I bring that up.
Yeah.
I think Chris Paul is 3-17 or something like that in the last 20 games Scott Foster has officiated. And the commissioner, Adam Silver, did come out and address that and say, they don't have to like each other, but they still have to be professional and do their jobs. I would like, what, guys, clearly there's something going on. Scott, I'm not going to assign you to Warriors games this season. Something, or have a meeting or sit down or something like this. We can't have an official and a player having personal beefs and vendettas against each other.
Mm-hmm.
You can't do that. It's bad for business.
Bottom line. When we come right back, tell you about the 49er who is the NFC Player of the Week. Is that Kyle Draper's favorite 49er? Stay tuned. Drive Guys with the answer when we come right back on Sactown Sports.
Will Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers brass go all the way this season? Could the Niners win their first Super Bowl since 1995? Join us throughout the season to hear all the games and all the analysis on Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com.
Winter is coming. I know you know that, but are you prepared to keep your family warm all season long? At American Energy Heating and Air, their goal is to exceed your expectations of the heating and air industry by valuing the customer experience and making your home comfort system as efficient as possible for the most value. So book your $49 furnace tune-up and safety inspection today. Prevent dangerous gas leaks. Extend the life of that furnace and save on your energy bills. And here's the guarantee. This isn't a sales call. They're not getting in the door so they can try to sell you a bunch of stuff. No, they're just going to do what they say they're going to do. Call today to schedule an appointment at 916-520-9990 or go to AmericanEnergyAir.com. Been serving the greater Sacramento area since 1981. A-plus Better Business Bureau rating. Get your $49 furnace tune-up and safety inspection today. 916-520-9990. American Energy, making the uncomfortable comfortable.
The Drive Guys powering your afternoons Monday through Friday on Sactown Sports.
Well, it's been a week of surprises, and I had the good fortune of being overseas recently. A lot of surprising things in the Far East, but I haven't experienced anything in a long time that surprised me as much as what happened earlier here, and it was during one of our breaks where Kyle was talking to Jay and I, and he says, "You know who I like on the 49ers?" And I was, "What?"
I offered that up.
It was incredible, was it not, Jay? I mean, didn't you just have one of those moments like, wait, is this a trick or something?
Yeah, I thought somebody was popping out, Ashton Kutcher. I had asked Drake, hey, man, I know you want to – I got a jersey for you. I offered him another jersey, and he didn't want to accept my humble gift.
I thought it was a very gracious offer.
Yeah, it was very much. He denied me.
No, because here's the thing. When you look at the Niners – the Debos of the world, the Kittles, a little too much trash talking for me, a little too much fake tough guyness, if you will.
Didn't Debo back it up? By the way, there's no Debos. There's only one Debo, right? There's
yes,
only one.
And he backed it up. Congrats. Yeah. But I like guys who go about their business, quietly go about their business. They don't have to talk. They don't have to use this fake tough guy image or anything like that. I like a guy that produces.
You like to act like you've been there in the end zone,
act
guys?
like you've been there. And so there's one player on the Niners I actually like. Brandon Ayuk.
How about that?
Played his college ball over there in Rockland, started off at Sierra College. I'm a Brandon Ayuk guy because he just goes about his business. You don't hear him all in the media or all promising that we going to go to Philly or if we would have had this, we would have. No, he just handles his business. And that's why I like Brandon Ayuk. Okay. So if you got me a Brandon Ayuk jersey, I would actually keep it. I don't know if I'd wear it.
Oh, that's not the same.
I'd keep it.
Okay. But I respect where you're going. So that means you don't like Sirianni then, because he's all up in the business. He's everywhere. He's the type of person.
I gotta like. It's like it's like gotcha. your family. You can't choose your family.
Very true.
You can't. If my sister or brother was out there talking smack, what can I do? That's my blood.
You got to ride with it.
Sirianni's my coach.
Okay.
Now, if he was the coach of the Niners, I probably wouldn't like it.
So who's the person on the Philly Eagles right now that you dislike the most, even though that's your family?
I don't think he's
I'm not. I can't. I don't have anything. No.
You love everyone.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. Because they're my guys, man. Come on now.
The one thing, and I know I've mentioned this before, every time I hear Sirianni or see him, I can't get over this. I remember this. When he was hired, there was an NFL source who said, good guy, solid candidate, fairly smart, but not super smart. And that's every time I see him.
Yes.
That's what I think of. Fairly smart, but not super
And
smart.
you remember his introductory.
You guys throw 57 out, right?
Yeah, his introductory press conference. You remember that? He fumbled and stumbled through that. And I'm like, this is the guy we hired? But then you get to know him, you bring him in. It's like, having a son-in-law or something. Your daughter's dating. You're like, honey, this is the guy you're dating, you're bringing home. But then you get to know him at Christmas dinner, Thanksgiving dinner, and he's funny. He plays golf, basketball, whatever. He's like, all right, he's not bad. He's one of us now.
Megadeth Knight says Purdy doesn't talk smack in the media, handles his business well. You can keep that Brock jersey.
No, see, but
that's a great comment.
No, but you guys this is the problem with Brock Purdy, and it has nothing to do with him. It has to do with all you Niners fans out there. Brock Purdy is fine. He's a good quarterback. But this anointing him, there are comparisons to Joe Montana being made.
Those are valid.
No, come on.
Valid comparisons.
This is why I'm not a fan of the guy. Because you guys are already in. This is why I wasn't a fan of Tony Romo. It was like he was the best thing since sliced bread. It's like, calm down. Win something first, young fella.
I understand that. No one in their right mind would say, well, he's better than Joe Montana. But, I mean, we had Jesse Sapolu on, who was Joe Montana's center.
Jesse could be wrong also.
And he said, he reminds me of Joe Montana. That's a guy who was in the huddle during Super Bowls with Joe Montana.
If I'm Joe Montana and I hear that, I'm feeling extremely disrespected. I'm feeling like, you know what? I didn't accomplish so much. I'm the number 2 quarterback of all time. And this dude.
You just disrespected him right there.
Tom Brady's ahead of Joe Montana. Is that a debate?
Sure, it is around here.
It is not a debate around here.
It is
Jay,
around here.
Is this a real debate around here?
4-0's 4-0, brother.
7 rings is 7 rings.
I'm more on the. I mean, I get where you're coming from. I'm a Niner through and through. Brady's the GOAT, though.
See, Whitey's trying to stir something up.
No,
He's trying to stir something up. I want to hear from Niners fans then.
Yeah.
In the YouTube chat, text line, who's the greatest quarterback of all time?
Joe Montana.
I will say this. If you're talking to older 49er fans who got to watch Montana and through and through the whole 80s, you might get a conversation, but I still don't see it. It's Tom Brady.
It's sort of like, if we're going to in
By the way,
basketball,
the guy who just said that is wearing a 49er
yes, he's a
Niners.
Niners fan. He understands. He understands.
Which one would be a number 2 of all time? I mean, we're talking about of all time.
Dude, it's like the LeBron Jordan comparison. If your reasoning for putting Jordan ahead of LeBron is 6 rings, you can't tell me Montana's ahead of Tom Brady, who has 7 rings. Like, that's a wrap right there.
And how many losses in the Super Bowl?
It doesn't matter as long as you get there.
4-0.
I would rather be 7-2 or no 7-4 than 4-0. Come on now.
I will say this. This is neither here nor there. I got some info here on your favorite 49er, but the LeBron Jordan thing. I go back and forth on that. I honestly don't know how I feel about it. I go back, and when I go, I'll go. Sometimes I'll feel like, oh, MJ was the greatest, everything he did for the game, and those 6 championships. And then like a week later, no, look at LeBron. I really don't know. I go back and forth on that. I don't know.
I don't go
in
back
my
and
own
forth.
mind what the answer is. You go MJ?
No, I'm LeBron all
Are
the
you?
way. Yes, I'm a LeBron James guy when it comes to that argument, because I think LeBron does more than Jordan does. Jordan scored at a higher clip, but then LeBron's the all-time leading scorer in NBA history. LeBron rebounds better. LeBron's assists
You're
better.
right. You're right.
It's like, come on, man. LeBron makes his teammates around him much better than and so as great as Jordan is, to win one game, yeah, I'd probably go Jordan. But if I'm starting the team, give me LeBron James.
The biggest single fact I think that suggests Michael Jordan is not the greatest player of all time is this. When he left the Bulls the first time, he left, right? He went to play baseball, whatever happened. I think they won 55 games.
55, I do believe. Yeah.
Without him.
Yes.
Without him.
Yes, and they made it to the. Did they make it to the conference?
Game 7, I think.
No, Game 7 Eastern Conference Finals, right?
Yeah, when I think that was when
The
Pippin's
Pippen
like they made him play for Kukoc, and Pippin's like,
I'm pouting. Yeah, exactly. I 100% agree, man. Give me LeBron James. That's just me.
Anyway, here's the dang deal. We've got Debo is the NFC Offensive Player of the Week. So looking ahead to next year, and I know there's a lot of pizza in the box for this year, but the question is, can the 49ers afford both Debo and your guy, Brandon Ayuk?
That's a great question.
His fifth-year option for next season with a guaranteed salary, $14.1 million, pardon me, has already been picked up. But the sides can work out a multi-year extension in the offseason that would guarantee Ayuk more money, but also provide a team with salary cap savings for next season. So Matt Mayoko says the problem will be arriving at a number that works for both sides, for the 49ers and Ayuk. 13 receivers in the NFL make an average of at least $20 million per season. Ayuk can be expected to join that group, but Matt Mayoko says the 49ers likely will have to make some difficult decisions along the way, but retaining both of them is doable. And I think they have to. Yeah, they have to keep them both.
I mean, obviously they have the cap space, yes, but you got to do something with Brock Purdy also. And don't tell me
you don't have to yet, though. That's it. That's why you can do this.
Nah, but you're not. Are you really going to, he's at 985 next year, 1.1 a year. Are you really going to? That's disrespectful to me. You got to restructure his deal, don't you?
Not yet. You
Not
don't.
yet.
That's why. That's his value to your team.
That would be disrespectful to Brock Purdy. We see guys get their deals restructured all the time.
The
in the
49ers
NFL.
don't do that much. When it's not your time, you got to wait for your time, and then we'll take care
And
of
if
you.
I'm Brock Purdy, what do? I'm not reporting. I'm holding out.
See, you don't know Brock like we know
exactly.
Brock.
No, I said
He
if
wants to
I'm
win.
Brock Purdy,
Yeah.
I'm not.
That's why you're not family. Point blank, right
Jay,
there.
come
You're
on,
not
you're going
family.
to disrespect your quarterback
You're not
by
family.
paying him less than $1 million
He
next year.
understands, like,
This guy is an MVP candidate.
Hey,
if
Brock.
he wins the MVP and you're not going to restructure his deal and take care of him,
Brock,
that's terrible.
We'll pay you more money, or we'll pay you what we paid you, and you'll have Debo and Ayuk
Y'all
to
trying
throw
to pull the wool over Brock Purdy's
Which way you want to
eyes.
go, Brock? And we'll take care of you down the road. But we'll
Down
give you more
the
money
road?
now.
What's down the road?
When your contract is up.
This is the NFL, Whitey.
Yeah, but
this
these
is
are
the
49ers.
NFL.
This
But
is
it
the
took you
49er
guys to
way.
sign your family member 3 years, and he was an MVP. So why? So after
we
2 years,
rewarded
we
him,
have
right?
to, right?
We
After 2
rewarded-
years, though.
You got 2 more. He's got 2 more years under contract.
Okay, but
after
but what I'm saying, what you're arguing, Whitey, is he has to get it done this year. Why didn't you guys sign your family member after the second year?
Don't bring the Eagles
No,
into this.
I'm just asking about your household. That's all I was asking.
If I'm correct, Purdy's in his second year right now.
Correct.
Exactly.
Jalen Hurts got re-signed after his 3rd year.
Purdy's payday ain't here yet.
All right,
It's
so
just not.
So is it the following year then?
Yeah,
Is it
that's
after
fine.
that?
No problem.
And that's what I'm talking about. You look at Ayuk's
Probably the
money.
year after.
You
What's
look
his
at
deal?
he's got 2 more after this year. You're not going to wait to the final year of his deal as he's playing.
The 49ers will
If
wait.
man, if
yeah.
I'm Brock Purdy, if I don't get a new deal by the time my last year begins, like going into my 4th year, I got problems.
Maybe so, but next
I
year
got problems.
it's not an issue next season.
Plus this Whitey and Draper, Kyle reminds me of this. You cannot have a negotiation with a rookie until after the 3rd year, by the way. So
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
So let the
Should
man
you
play
pay the
this
man?
year and next
Should
year.
you pay the man after his
Of
3rd year?
course, absolutely.
Okay.
Especially if he brings home that trophy.
Exactly.
Yeah, but you're set with him now. That's the beauty of having him. And then he's really good on top of that. MVP caliber play. Cha-ching.
Man, y'all are trying to get Purdy on the cheap. That's messed up.
How? We're just following rules.
Look at how we just following
We're
the
following
rules. We
rules,
just
man.
following it.
We're just following in the great
You
footsteps
guys are terrible, man.
of your general manager, which is escaping me right now. But yeah, that guy.
You guys are killing me.
It would be
That's
dumb
Howie
to
Roseman.
give him. Yeah,
Yeah,
let's say
Roseman.
wins the MVP, which he might. It's interesting. You acknowledge right there he may win the MVP.
He may do it.
Yeah,
I don't think he's the MVP, but he may win
he
it.
may win it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
If
Why do
he
you
were
keep
to-
breaking them down? I like
No,
where
I'm
you're
not
going.
breaking him down.
Little bit, bit by bit.
Dude, I've been the one
Take
that
one
said
leg off
Brock
at a
Purdy's
time.
a good quarterback. The numbers indicate he's in the MVP
No, wait a
conversation.
minute. Hold on. Whitey, did he not start this show with you a month ago or so saying this guy is basically a system guy?
quarterback.
Yes. He started that out. You said you need to see more
Yeah.
of him.
Jay,
He did okay.
may have said cheese
you
It
get
was
more.
hard.
Come on
you
now.
get more information in.
Okay.
You're allowed to see. Look at it's like power rankings in week 4 or 5. Brock Purdy wasn't in my top 5 in the season in the MVP. He's moved up there. The Niners are winning. He's playing great. Come on, man.
Yeah. But you didn't say, I'm not sure. I have to see. You said, he's not that good. He's a system
Keep breaking him down, Whitey. I love it.
System quarterback.
He has proven me wrong. The final test will be the playoffs.
You remember?
Yes.
And then you kind of forgot that you apologized.
Did I really? I bought his jersey. You got a Purdy jersey?
I do not.
Jay, you got a Purdy jersey?
I do not.
Exactly. I'm the only one in this room that got a Purdy
18
jersey.
other ones.
He's wearing a jersey right
They're
now.
holding it against me because I don't have the 19th. I'm only getting paid so much.
It's out of here, man.
Yeah.
Y'all killing me right now.
When we come back, an NBA expansion team is going to cost how much next year with the Tribe Guys on Sactown Sports?
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sactown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sactown Sports app.
Have you Googled yourself lately? Are there negative posts from an ex-employee or from a former client? Maybe an outdated news article or sensitive personal information about your family? Search engines don't always get it right. For right or wrong, it's your reputation on the line. That's where Reputation Defender by Norton comes in. One of the most trusted names in online reputation repair, Reputation Defender has been fixing people's search results for over 15 years. Their cutting-edge approaches help you to wipe away unwanted information in your search results. They also promote the good stuff so that it rises to the top, helping you put your best foot forward. Your good name is too valuable to leave to the whims of a Google algorithm. Take control with Reputation Defender. You can start by getting your free reputation report card at reputationdefender.com or call 800-401-6681 to speak to an expert. That's 800-401-6681.
Discover your dream home at Subcontractors United, your source for all home improvement needs. A talented team of home services experts is ready to make your projects a breeze. No more endless internet searches. Find your contractors in one place. Enjoy stress-free service absolutely free, with no hidden costs and no accounts to set up. Transform your living space into something extraordinary. Visit Subcontractors United today and experience the joy of hassle-free home improvement. Dream big at subcontractorsunited.com.
Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Here's Frank LaRosa.
A couple of weeks ago, I had the honor to enjoy a conversation with PGA Tour player and U.S. Open winner Jim Furyk, who's also the first to shoot 58 in a PGA Tour event. We talked about junior golf, his experiences on tour, and plans for the future. He also revealed his commitment to a new golf shoe manufactured by Box Toe Golf. I took notice because when a person makes his living playing golf, he looks for advantages in preparation, equipment, and certainly his shoes, which are the only contact with the ground. Box Toe is a premium brand specializing in handcrafted leather golf shoes designed for players who demand quality, style, and performance. With full-grain leather upper and soft leather linings, the shoes offer unmatched comfort. They're a perfect blend of classic style and modern design. If Box Toe Legacy golf shoes and belts are good enough for Jim Furyk, they're good enough for me. Learn more at boxtoegolf.com. That's your golf to go. I'm Frank LaRosa.
If you're a luxury car enthusiast, Mercedes-Benz of Stockton invites you to experience the Mercedes-Benz of fully electric vehicles. And your first Mercedes-Benz electric car comes with bonus cash back of up to $7,500 and 2 years of prepaid vehicle maintenance on select models. Purchase or lease a Mercedes-Benz all-electric car and receive 2 years of complimentary charging. See our gorgeous Mercedes electric vehicles at mbofstockton.com.
Sacramento's official home for the San Francisco 49ers.
Sactown Sports.
Did you see what Roger Goodell called Las Vegas? It's Drive Guys here at Sactown Sports. You know, they got the Super Bowl going there, so he's sweet-talking Vegas and all the people there. But Roger Goodell, commissioner of the NFL, and Vegas does have it all going on. They get A's, and they got the NBA in-season tournament. He called Las Vegas. He said, "You are Sportstown, USA. You really are." Is Las Vegas Sportstown, USA?
Heck no.
Makes me sick.
To be Sportstown, USA, don't you have to have some history, some
WNBA championship,
some roots. You know, you're right. Well, they did win the Stanley Cup.
That's right.
That's right. Yeah, Vegas Golden Knights won, but that's disrespectful to the Bay. That's disrespectful to LA, New York, Philly, Boston, Chicago.
It's also kind of hypocritical because for years, Goodell in the NFL, of course, all
did not
they
want
wouldn't
it.
have anything to do with Vegas.
Exactly. And now the 180 that they're doing, now they're fully embraced now with the gambling, with Vegas. Now it's he's just kissing up, sucking up.
I know.
Yeah,
I know.
It's kind of
he's good at that.
He's good at that, right? That's what I was about to say. He's great at that.
Yeah. So they may be in line for an expansion team. But speaking of Vegas, it's really sad. The A's here free agency. What are they going to do? No one knows where they're going to be next year. If you're a free agent, hey, where are you playing next year? We don't know. You want to come play for us? They don't even know where they're going to be.
Right?
Yeah. So, and then Jay is, I'm encouraging Jay, who's obviously very upset about everything going on with the A's. I think he should become a free agent fan. And I think we should help him out on the show and tell other teams, hey, we got a free agent fan here. Why don't you make your pitch?
I wonder
other
what
teams can can try to recruit him to become, hey, here's why you should become a fan of our team.
I wonder what is a priority to Jay. Like, what does he look for in a team?
Good question.
You know, what do you look for, Jay, in a team?
I'm more localized. I try to stick with people that, I'm born and raised here in Sacramento, so I try to keep it West Coast.
What about the Giants then? Hey.
And I was just getting ready to say, I can't go Giants, though. That's the one team I can't go. It's like if the Niners if I was a Raider, I probably wouldn't have become a 49er. Yeah, vice versa.
Gotcha.
So I can't do the Giants. Beyond that, I'm open, brother. I'm not hard to please, Whitey and Drapes. I'll be honest.
Yeah, I think we can get you some good offers.
And
will you allow us to represent you in this endeavor?
Please, yeah, absolutely. And I can't. This is the other thing. I can't do Dodgers, which is
right. We understand that.
There has to be. There's teams that have
good for you
built-in rivalries already.
Jay, you're a free agent.
No
you can
Red
go
Sox.
wherever you want.
Right.
You
Yes.
go wherever you want.
No Red Sox.
No Red Sox.
Okay.
No Dodgers.
Can
no
it be
Giants.
AL? Can it be American League?
Of course.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm ruling out Texas Rangers.
Okay.
Then you looking like a bandwagoner. You know what I mean? You
Well,
looking
they
like
just won their first.
Nah, but you can't do it after their
Okay,
first.
all
Like
right.
that's kind of weak. What about Kansas City, the Royals?
Man, you sending me to another small market team that don't spend no money? Man,
that's one
purgatory again.
Might move in a few years.
He's going to leave a small market team as a free agent. You want to go enjoy
right.
Yankees, baby, right?
I'm
I've never
not a
been a
New
Yankee
York
fan,
guy either. Yeah, but
all right.
How about White Sox?
I like where you going.
Yeah,
I could dig with the White Sox.
And because when you look at the White Sox too, Jay, and this is why I say this, I think this would fit you. Really.
I love Tim Anderson.
Tim
on the
Anderson,
field, I should say.
exactly.
On the field.
Right. On the field.
Yeah.
But you got a little, well, he did get knocked out though, right?
Yeah,
he took the
on the
L
field,
on that.
that's
Yeah,
right.
he took the L.
Okay, how about his playing
They're
talent?
terrible.
Yeah.
No, but it's not about that. He's not a bandwagoner.
Some of it is.
I'm saying when you look at Chicago, the Cubs are like the fun, everybody likes them
I
kind of
get that.
franchise. Chicago, the White Sox are the gritty, grimy,
but they
disrespected. But no, I'm talking about Jay. Jay's from he's from the bottom. He's from the mud,
He's
man.
a winner, though.
He don't want the wine and cheese kind of crowd.
Did you hear why the Dodgers were mad at Dave Roberts on the Ohtani
No,
thing?
why?
Okay, remember yesterday we said that it came out that the Giants had met with Ohtani.
Yeah.
And that could be a problem for him because Ohtani's camp's like,
And it got
"You
out."
better not
Yeah.
leave." Yeah. So Dave Roberts is talking to reporters yesterday. He says, "Oh, yeah, we met with Ohtani. We had, we didn't really recruit him." And right after he talks to reporters, he gets a text, and it's from the Dodgers like,
What?
Shut the hell up.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. Did you see the report, too, that this weekend, by the end of this weekend, we
Oh.
could have a decision
Well,
on
you said that
Ohtani?
to me.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
And who are the teams? The Giants, Dodgers,
Blue Jays.
Blue Jays. I think Angels were still
But yeah,
mentioned as
but
well.
here's the thing: if it's as secret as we think, we don't even know who he's met with.
Yeah, that's true.
So there could
It could be a
hey, White Sox could come out of nowhere here.
Jay
Yeah.
would definitely jump on that bandwagon then. Yeah, why not? So you're definitely not Las Vegas A's though, Jay. Can't rock with that.
No, absolutely not.
Bless you.
No way, no how. I'm definitely not going to Vegas. I'll let the Raiders fans jump on that. And, Las Vegas, the Knights and the 76ers or whatever they're called out there, their minor league ballpark, definitely not going that way. I'm sorry. I was thinking about this is funny because I love Dusty Baker, but I couldn't rock with the Astros, right?
Yeah.
So you can't go that way. But now that he's gone, do I lean that way?
Well, but they're cheaters, right? I mean, they like you. They're like the most hated team out there right now.
Yeah,
in the American League.
They're also kind of, was it 7 years in a row in the AL?
Yeah. Yeah.
So they're,
Mariners.
That's a nice.
That's a
call.
good one. I like Seattle.
Julio Rodriguez.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. That's you should put them on their short.
What about the D-backs? I know they surprised a lot of people this year. They haven't won anything but one time.
It depends. They win, but they don't have a ton of exciting guys. And I think Corbin Carroll's good and Zach Gallen, but they don't have they're more homegrown. Cadell Marte is really good. I don't know. Do you want a team with stars that you can get excited about, or
and
you want to win, or
I was thinking Padres and look like they're getting ready to shuffle up all their stars, but Padres, West Coast, they fit the California. I can't do the Angels. Just no.
Wait and see what the Padres do with Soto.
I think
wait and see how this trade. Yeah, he's gone, but wait and see what they get for him from the Yankees, and then you make your decision. Yeah, you got a lot of good options.
You can't do but you can't do Yankees. You
can't
do a front running.
I agree.
Yeah, you can't do
No Dodgers, no Cubs.
So no Cubs by that. Yeah,
no Cubs.
No Giants.
I get definitely no Giants. I get what you're saying. No Rangers because they won.
Yeah. Raider Ted on the YouTube, Jay, says, how can anybody be this far along in their life and not have a favorite team?
Well, he did.
He did. I think he might have came in.
Oakland A's fan.
A's
fan. Bona fide Oakland A's fan. And they're gone.
Right.
They're leaving.
Yeah. And the thought of rooting for the Las Vegas A's probably
just can't do it.
So real quick, Jay, let me ask you, are you out on the A's right now, or are you waiting till they actually leave?
I'm out, man. I think we talked about this a few times over the last couple of months. I have asked the listeners to help me out. I have a lot of A's gear. Should I continue to wear it? Should I just pack it up, put it in a Ziploc, and suction up all the air, put it in the box in the garage, and then bring it out 6 years and now it's retro.
I don't have as much as you, but what I have, like next year, I will wear it, and then after that, I'll put it away.
So I haven't been to 3 seasons ago now, because the last 2 I had season tickets. The last 2 years, I have not went to an Oakland A's game. I just can't bring myself to do it anymore.
I feel you.
I went last year thinking I got to go one more time, and I don't know, I might sit out. this whole season.
So I think I'm going to go one time this year, upcoming year, to celebrate it, get my tears out and move on, and
that
I'm
makes
done.
sense. Yeah.
You going? Maybe Whitey? Maybe we go together, bro.
I would do that. I would definitely do that. Yes.
On the text line, Whitey would wear a split A's and Giants cap if you paid him enough.
That's somebody who knows how I feel about the split A's and Giants cap.
That's somebody personal there.
Yeah,
that's somebody who knows you.
That's not gonna happen. No. I mentioned, by the way, I want to get this in because I mentioned it. NBA expansion team. You know that when the Kings almost went to Seattle, Chris Hansen tried to buy the Kings for $625 million. Experts now say the price of an NBA expansion team will be $4 or $5 billion.
What?
$4 or $5 billion is what the experts say. And Seattle, Vegas are the favorites, although some, the commissioner's talking like maybe Mexico City, but it looks like Seattle and Vegas.
Who's paying
Montreal
that money?
has been mentioned, but yeah, experts say $4, maybe $5 billion.
Who's got that?
An NBA expansion team.
That is crazy talk. I'm flabbergasted. It would take like 1,100 of us. Like seriously, and for one person to do that, I can't see that anymore. Like it's going to have to take a group.
Yeah,
like we saw with the Commanders this past
maybe a group of people
year.
from Saudi Arabia.
Right, they got the money. The money exactly. Yeah, that's. And I get it. The value of these teams, because then you look at the teams, the TV deal, if you have your own arena, then you got to pay the players. Everybody's getting richer except these broadcasters out here and media members, man. What's going on?
Hey, they're going to need broadcasters.
Yeah,
but Las Vegas.
My next deal, I'm going to need like
Las Vegas
1% of 1% or something like that.
That's right.
That's what I want. 1% of 1%.
Seattle Salamanders?
Salamanders.
Real quick. Because I saw this on the YouTube. I know we have to go. I want to explain this one more time for the people in the back who don't understand this. I am 40 years old, just turned 40 years old.
Okay.
I am a A's fan, 49ers fan, because the Raiders were not in the Bay when I was growing up. They were in Los Angeles. It happens. Understand, there was a window.
Yep.
That's why I do not like the Raiders. I like the 49ers. The Raiders were in La La Land. They were Laker land, okay? So people understand that.
Yeah.
I get
you don't
that.
have to explain yourself, but we
They
appreciate
hear
it
it in
anyway.
the back, man. I'm like Draper today with Harrison Barnes.
Look at you. You get
We're tired of the same argument.
Exactly.
UC Davis basketball are taking on Nevada next with Scott Marsh on the call. It's coming up here on Sactown Sports.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sactown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never